Buckle up, boys. Time to go to work. Hi, my name's Dan. I'm a Taurus. I'm a male model, and I like pesto.
Welcome, one and all, to the Dan Patrick Show.
I got a half hour here before I'm going to be in bed.
Where tensions are running high as we wait for sporting to resume.
I got to get sports back. They got to.
Dan's feeling it.
I'm mad as hell.
You're feeling it.
Chat row's killing me all show, Dan. They're mean.
But when it comes to the biggest guests and best interviews,
Paul Feinbaum, Brooks Koepka, Will Ferrell, Jason Hare. He's the director of ESPN's The Last Stand.
those will never go away.
No. Can't do that. Hard no.
Broadcasting from the Mercedes Man Cave.
And if you get there late, you get a bologna sandwich.
This is Dan Patrick.
Made it to a Thursday. Hour one, Dan and the Danettes. Dan Patrick Show. Glad to have you with us. Stay as long as you want. We're here for 3 hours. You can dial us up, 877-3DP Show. You can watch on youtube.com/The Dan Patrick Show. And we're on 362 radio affiliates around the country and the powerful Fox Sports Radio lineup. The biggest reveal tonight on the NFL Network and ESPN schedule release party probably won't be primetime matchups or playoff rematches. Now, those will be fun to watch, but the real news is how the schedule reveals the league's contingency plans. You got a 3-hour show on ESPN and the NFL Network. I don't know how much time they're going to devote to this, but we talked about, and I brought it to your attention over a month ago, the schedule makers were looking at the contingency plans of a 12-game season. I know contingency plan schedules doesn't sound exciting, but it's pretty important here. It's going to happen. I think that you're going to probably see front-loaded schedules with non-conference games just in case the NFL starts the season late. The games are always interesting, but they're less impactful in the standings. And this is all uncharted territory. The NFL has kept saying they plan on a full season. Well, they should, but they have a contingency plan. You get the sense that they're working pretty hard on the alternatives, and maybe the schedules will reveal some of the bigger clues of what they're thinking as they try to kick off the 2020 season. Here are a couple of notes that Mike Florio pointed out. For example, will the schedule allow for the possibility of certain teams sharing stadiums? You got the teams in California that might not be able to host games. Therefore, if the California teams have to go elsewhere, the Chargers could play in Phoenix, let's say. Rams could play in Vegas. The Niners could go to Denver. These are just contingency plans here. But I think that these are real questions that they're trying to answer here. You got teams who are going to need to have home games on different weeks, home games separated by 1 or 2 more days. If you play a game on Sunday, can you play a game there on Monday? Could you play a game on Monday and a game on Thursday? These are things that are being discussed right now with the NFL. 12 games, if they start later, are you going to have non-conference games up front? Therefore, if you lose those, it's okay. You want the division games. You want AFC versus AFC, NFC versus NFC. You want that to still be part of the schedule. Just some things to keep an eye on as we have the scheduling party that comes up tonight. And there's always the entertaining part of this of what's the first game. It's on NBC. It's usually the Super Bowl winning team hosting somebody, and it's a marquee matchup. And then there's the Sunday night game as well on NBC. That's always fun to try to handicap who's going to be playing the Kansas City Chiefs. Will they play on Thursday night? Will they play on Sunday night? If we went around the room and I said you could pick the matchup you want, first game of the season, and you know that the game is going to be played. See, that's another thing. You might pick a game that won't be played, even though it should be played to start the season. We might be a month later, and therefore you pick up the schedule in week 4 or week 5, that's where it'll be tricky. Yeah, Paulie.
So you're saying we could pick any game from any 2 teams to lead the NFL season off. That's the rationale here.
Well, we already know.
That'd be fun.
I would rather pick what could be reality.
Can we do both?
Well, we can, but that's like don't you want to come in tomorrow and say, hey, I told you that was going to be the game that was going to be played, instead of here's a hypothetical that they don't even play this year. McLovin, look at the Kansas City Chiefs schedule. And let's just say you were picking the most entertaining game to start the season. I already know what my matchup would be.
Well, I think the Chiefs have the ideal schedule anyway. I'm pulling it up now.
Okay.
Because they play, I believe they play the NFC South. Yeah. So they have the Bucs are on there.
Yeah. Well, that's your
Saints
matchup. No, that's your matchup.
Well, they also have the Ravens, though, Dan.
No, that's your matchup. Brady versus Mahomes, and you put the Buccaneers there with Kansas City. Yeah, Seton.
Don't you feel like there's some way the Cowboys have to be in there, though?
They might be on a Sunday night. Maybe Sunday night. You know, NBC is going to have Thursday and Sunday. So you'd be able to cover those fan bases, I think. But I'm not sure the Cowboys schedule, but Kansas City versus Tampa Bay right out of the gate, that's spicy. Yeah, Paul.
Total hypothetical. Let's say you could do it. Wave your wand, Dan. You run NBC Sports. You could have the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as your opening game, or the Buccaneers versus the Patriots as your opening game. Hypothetical. You could pick.
I would take the Buccaneers versus the Patriots.
That would be, there's nothing bigger would be better than that, right? Hypothetically.
It might not be a great game, but it would be interesting. And if you're just going to have the Brady Belichick aspect, Gronk back, how healthy is he going to be? But that's hypothetical. They don't play this year. Yeah, McLovin.
You don't feel the Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes showdown? That would be fun, too. Just to make
it will be. I just want to make sure that I got Brady and Gronk still healthy to be able to play in a game. I don't want to go, let's wait till week 8. I mean, yeah, it sounds great to have that build up to something like that, but I'd rather get that right out of the gate. Probably won't happen, but that's what I would want. Yeah, McLovin.
Don't Fox and CBS try to protect a couple games? So
Yes.
aren't they going to go after that Brady Chiefs game too?
Yeah, I don't know how that works, the inner workings of the networks, and you protect and how many games you can protect. I don't think you can protect the first weekend. I think that's the NFL's way of saying to NBC Football Night in America, Sunday night football, hey, you guys are the best at what you do. We give you these marquee games. Yeah, Paulie.
Here's another one that I have the Tampa schedule this year, not who they play, not when.
Okay.
Green Bay at Tampa for your home opener.
I like that.
That's saucy.
Yep, I like that. Just because of the whole Rodgers thing, Rodgers could be in a situation just like Tom Brady was with the Patriots there. Who else? Any other games there that are...
With Tampa's got the Rams. They've got the Saints a couple times, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so give me the Chiefs. They got Saints, they got Tampa Bay, they got the Ravens. The Cowboys and Chiefs don't play, do they? Because that's the way you open up the season. Yeah, McLovin.
They have let's see, the Texans, the Raiders, the Jets, the Bills. They're a hot team. Chargers.
No. You're not.
Dolphins. No, Dolphins won't be two anyway.
No.
Yeah, I mean, you don't think will the rookies all be ready to play by then?
I doubt it.
Maybe Burrow.
We don't even know when they get into camp. we have no idea. I know we have a lot of speculation, the possibility. I don't know if you have players in camp by July, August. I mean, they're going ahead with the Hall of Fame game, with the preseason game. I think that's a little aggressive. I think the season's going to be delayed. I do. I think the NFL is going to hold out hope that when they start, they can have fans go to the games. I think that would be the reason for the delay. I think that they'll still be playing football. Is college football going to be delayed? I think so. Now, the other interesting part, we're going to talk to Kirk Ferentz, the Iowa head coach, and I think he's bringing his players back June 1st. At least that's the last thing I saw. So we'll talk to the Iowa head coach. What if the season is delayed? And Chris Fowler brought this up a couple of weeks ago. What if they are playing in the spring? What if college football has to wait until January, February to start?
Ooh.
Well, if I'm Trevor Lawrence, see ya. I'm not going out there in the spring. You start on time, you play, okay, but now all of a sudden I'm going to be playing in February or March. I don't know. I think you're going to have some first-round talent say they're going to treat it like a bowl game and say, no, I don't think so. They're going to Bosa it. Yeah, McLovin.
Won't that help my bet with you about Trevor
It
Lawrence
will.
going
It
number
will.
one?
Look, I don't even know what the odds are because they're not in my favor of Trevor Lawrence. Somebody going above Trevor Lawrence. I don't know what Vegas's odds are. Probably not anywhere near in my favor, but that's okay. I made the bet a couple of years ago. Yes, McLovin.
But we know how this works out. It never works out the way it's supposed to. Never, ever, except once with Andrew Luck.
Yes, Paul.
How about this one?
Okay.
I'm going to throw you a little hypothetical.
All right, here we
At
go.
the opening game of the
Why are you dealing with hypotheticals?
Because reality sucks. Reality sucks.
Tony
these days.
Reality sucks?
Don't even know. I love reality.
Oh.
One of my
Oh,
favorites.
reality.
Reality
my bad. I was like, wow, brought in Tony Reality.
If the opening game of the NFL season,
Okay.
be honest, were Brady versus Mahomes, or then they're both starting, the Miami Dolphins versus the Bengals, Tua versus Joe Burrow, and you can only pick to watch one in its entirety. Be honest.
I would take Brady and Mahomes because I don't know what to expect out of Joe Burrow and Tua. I know what to expect out of Brady and Mahomes, and I put the Gronk element in there. I have no idea if Burrow and Tua are going to be successful. I know Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes are successful. I at least get good quality quarterback play there. I also was told by a source last night, he's like, everybody loves Joe Burrow. He had a wonderful season, greatest season a quarterback has ever had. But Jordan Love might actually have an opportunity for more success than Joe Burrow. And I went, all right, I'm listening. He said, Joe Burrow's going to the Bengals. Now, the organization, are they going to surround him? Do they have people in place who are going to be able to draft, sign free agent? When's the last time the Bengals had a big-time free agent sign with them? Is never the correct answer there?
Can't think of one.
Whereas Jordan Love, let's say in 3 years from now, he's sat there at the feet of Aaron Rodgers and he goes to the Packers with an established front office there. Does he have a better chance of succeeding? Go back to what I've said about Patrick Mahomes, Dak Prescott, Deshaun Watson. If they went to teams that were worse, they would not be who they are. They would still be talented. Mahomes would be a lot of fun. If Mahomes was on Jacksonville, we're not talking about Patrick Mahomes the way we talk about him in Kansas City. He went there with an established coach, underrated offensive coordinator, and as good at skill position players as anybody in the league. Deshaun Watson goes to Houston. He's got skill position players. He had DeAndre Hopkins there. He had a formidable defense there. Granted, he was saddled with Bill O'Brien, but he still had more success because the team was ready to go. Jordan Love might be in a situation like that. Yes, Eaton.
Is this the same Jordan Love that went to the same Packers who we just spent the last week killing because they don't draft anybody to help their quarterback?
Well, they do draft players, but
they just don't draft anybody that helps the quarterback.
Well, okay, but Aaron Rodgers is the most talented quarterback of all time, I'm told. Therefore, you don't need any weapons, right?
And so Jordan Love hopefully is going to be better than that.
Well, he's
going to be
be
better than the most talented quarterback of all time.
No, he's not going to be as good. Therefore, they have to get him some weapons. Therefore, he has a chance to succeed. Hey,
and that's why he's in a better situation than anybody else.
Yes.
Got it. Yes.
Hey, blame my source here. Blame him, not me. Yes, Paul.
So you're saying all these years the Packers have not taken a first-round wide receiver was a compliment to Aaron Rodgers?
Yes.
Like, we think you're so good, you don't need help.
Same with Tom Brady.
There it is.
And so then when they Jordan Love gets in there and they draft a first-round wide receiver, he's going to be like, you don't think I'm any good?
Now, that'll be like Undisputed or First Take. Oh, Packers send a message. They took a wide receiver, Jordan Love, not as good as we thought, question mark. No love, question mark. This program brought to you by 1-800-Flowers. Mother's Day is this Sunday. You got to lock in your order today. You got to do it. 1-800-Flowers, and you're going to make sure that she gets the flowers on time. Go to 1-800-Flowers.com. Click on the radio icon. Enter code Patrick. You are good to go. All right. So the scheduling part, are you guys going to, is this a big deal with you guys? Because the teams are already going to release their schedules. All I want to know is what are the Thanksgiving Day games, the season opener, what's going to be the front end or back end of the schedule? Are you going to be looking at games where teams could be playing in another stadium? That's what I'm curious about. For the most part, we know who you're playing. We don't know when you're playing them. Do you have maybe a situation where 3 out of 4 games are on the road? That's what I'm curious about. Yeah, Paulie.
I kind of watch a schedule release for work, but as a fan, I'm watching every single game anyway. Truly, I watch every single NFL game, whether it's Red Zone or Monday night, Sunday night. I guess the schedule doesn't really matter. I'm going to take a peek at it, but we watch them all.
Yeah.
It's fun to debate here what should be, but that's about it.
Yeah, I think I won't watch the whole thing because I'll just take the Cliff Notes version and we discuss it tomorrow. But as far as waiting for a big reveal, the big reveal would be the first weekend and I guess Thanksgiving. The Lions are going to be there. The Cowboys are going to be there. Who they're going to play. Yeah, McLevin.
I mean, the 7:30 Twitter releases, teams are going at 7:30.
Yeah.
That'll be more interesting. I hate to say it, but it's hard to watch. Have you watched that show before? It's kind of hard.
No, I've watched it, and it's just I can't sit there and watch 3 hours of it. Yeah, I like the discussion. I like that somebody is going to jump on something and say, "Oh, look at this! This team plays these games on the road. Hey, this team has back-to-back games against these two teams." That's what I'm curious about. One other thing, Johnny Unitas. This would have been his birthday today. I don't know how old Johnny. He was born in 1933, and we forget about Johnny Unitas because, and we shouldn't. He created the 2-minute drill. First quarterback to throw for more than 40,000 passing yards. First quarterback to ever have 30 or more touchdowns in a season. And the reason why I want to bring this up is he had a 47 consecutive game streak of throwing at least one touchdown. 1956 to 1960. Now, that record was eventually broken in 2013 by Drew Brees. And I thought, okay, completely different NFL now than it was when Johnny Unitas was the quarterback. And I had StatSync go back and I said, give me the average number of passes that Unitas attempted during this streak and that Drew Brees did. Unitas attempted 27 passes per game back then, which was a lot. Drew Brees, during his streak, 39. 12 more passing attempts in a style that allows more freedom for the wide receivers to be able to get down the field. Johnny Unitas, if you can be underrated, is underrated because we're going to look at these numbers and they're going to seem pedestrian. But Johnny Unitas and Raymond Berry, that was different. It was a 3 yards in a cloud of dust back then in the NFL. But the Colts had a lot of talent there. But Unitas to Raymond Berry created the 2-minute drill. And this is a guy who wasn't even drafted. But Johnny, you was born today in 1933. Yeah, Paul.
I found 2 little tidbits about Johnny Unitas. He wanted to play for Notre Dame, grew up a Notre Dame fan. He walked on the team, and frankly, he said he's too skinny and he would get murdered out on the field. And so he left the program, and he went to the University of Louisville. Yeah. He was drafted, I think, in the 9th round by the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he was the odd man out among 4 quarterbacks, and they cut him without giving him any practice snaps, according to the story, and he went to the Baltimore Colts.
Yeah, for some reason, I thought that he was not drafted.
Wow.
But went to the Colts as a free agent.
He was playing semi-pro football in Bloomfield.
Was he in Pittsburgh when he was playing?
Yeah, and then he tried out it was a last-minute tryout he got through a friend with the Baltimore Colts.
Pretty incredible. McLevin, what's the poll question today? We're going to talk to Pat Forty, by the way, talk some college football, because I don't know where we are right now with college football. I can honestly say I don't think college football knows where college football is. But you have coaches who are saying things. James Franklin at Penn State said, hey, we're planning on playing, even if there are schools like, he didn't say, like Northwestern that can't play. Imagine this with Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt, they're about education first, then their football team. If they can't open up on time, does anybody in the SEC say, hey, wait a minute, let's wait for Vanderbilt here? I don't know what these conferences are going to do. I get the feeling the SEC is going to play football. And if you can open your school, great. If you can't, we're still going to play football. It feels like. But we'll talk to Kirk Ferentz, the Iowa head coach. But Pat Forty will join us coming up here in a couple of minutes. What do you have, McLovin?
Well, we could do the what game do you want to see? You sound like you're dead set on Mahomes versus Brady, which is pretty good. But we could Tua and Burrow do play if Tua was going to play. The Dolphins and Bengals face off. You do have Lamar Jackson versus Mahomes, and you have Breeze versus Brady. Think anybody will vote for anything other? I think you're right. I think it's Brady versus Mahomes. But
well, Breeze and Brady, you can't do that to start because you may lose that game. You have to have dispensable games that are still entertaining. But if you have to lop off 4 games, you're going to do that first month. And therefore, you don't want to – you can't do the interdivision, interconference games. You can't lose those. Yeah,
but based on that, don't you save Brady versus Mahomes? I
would, but, I know this game is going to happen. The question is, when do you want it to happen if you're the NFL? That's what's intriguing to me tonight. Because you can't go on second thought, hey – we're going to move that game back to Christmas or something. Like once you put it in place, that's it. All right, 21 after the hour. Phone calls coming up. Got our poll question. Glad you're part of the program and whatever way you can join us. 21 after the hour, Dan Patrick Show. Discover is making it quick and easy and best of all free for you to check your credit score. Discover's offering FICO credit scores. And this is used by 90% of the top lenders. And even if you're not a customer, it's free. Checking your score won't hurt your credit. And you can check each month for changes there. The Discover Credit Scorecard is free for everyone. Learn more at discover.com/credit scorecard. That's discover.com/credit scorecard. Limitations apply. Is chili a soup? Like, hot dog's not a sandwich. Is chili a soup?
Sometimes when you go into restaurants and they'll say soup of the day, and I've seen chili on there. I don't think chili is a soup. I think chili is chili. But it is a bunch of stuff in a pot cooked up with a broth.
So is stew a soup? And why doesn't chili belong in the stew family?
In the stew department.
Our soup and bisque. A bisque is just a French word for soup. I know, not officially, but like a lobster bisque is a soup, right?
I'm guessing.
I got to believe a bisque is a soup.
Perloff makes more chili than anybody I know. He makes about 3 pots a week.
Andy, is chili
Well, I
soup?
see. Does chili have a broth? That confused me.
It has liquid.
Wait, do you have to have a broth to be a soup?
I think that might be the defining line right there.
But there is liquid in the chili.
Right. And why are stews and soups not the same thing? Who made that call?
I put it
Do we have
under the
the
same
power?
umbrella.
And then where do we get a chowder all of a sudden?
Oh,
my
geez.
God.
I think chowder is a soup, though. A New Englandish soup.
Yes.
Chowder.
Yes, for
I think if you asked a waiter or waitress what's your soup of the day or to list your soups and they said back to you chili, that would seem very odd to me that would be one of the soups.
Well, I'm curious if somebody in the restaurant business can call in and let us know. Is there a soup that's not on the soup of the day? Is chili not on there? Is chowder not on there? Yes. I see.
So according to a website called thekitchen.com,
Ooh.
it says, oh, wait, hold on. Stupid pop-up ad. It says, both soup and stew are a combination of vegetables, meat, or fish cooked in liquid. What sets these two warm and hearty dishes apart is the amount of liquid that's used for each, with stews generally containing less liquid.
And that makes you less of a soup.
I guess so.
Okay.
The focal point of chili is not the liquid, that's for sure. Thrillist.com said chili is not a soup because a soup has more of broth or stock as the base.
Is chili to soup what hot dogs are to sandwiches?
Yes, because a hot dog.
Is that what we're saying?
Because a hot dog is meat between bread, which means sandwich, but it is. We've declared a hot dog is separate from the sandwich realm.
No, the thing that screws up a hot dog is the hot dog bun. And if you put it on, if it's on bread, then we would look at it differently.
Like a pile of meat is not a sandwich anymore without the bread around it.
Yeah.
A hot dog is still a hot dog if you take away the bun. That solves that one.
Yeah, okay.
Eat
Look
that,
at
world.
you. Eat it.
Good point there,
Thank
Your
you.
Honor.
Wow.
Thank
Yeah.
You just got the points. If this was around the horn.
Yes, you would. Rally would give you
yeah.
like 5 or 7.
Eat it, Woody Page.
Yeah. You don't know how to use a broom.
Not really.
You couldn't cut down the nets
I needed a
when we
lefty
left
scissor.
the old man
Scissors are
cave.
an issue.
Scissors you can't use.
Yeah.
And you picked up tongs and you didn't know how to use tongs.
I understand the concept of the tongs, but I was kind of using them like chopsticks or something. It was just I was having a tough time with it.
But you're a smart
I know I'm a grown
guy.
man. And it doesn't
No,
matter.
not grown man. You're a smart guy.
I'm school smart. I used to memorize things and spit back the right answers on tests and write essays and stuff. But street smarts and handling
Tongs are as
things,
simplistic as you can get. You squeeze,
I have a very
they pick
small
stuff
skill
up.
set.
Hold on a second. I just want to note for the record that Todd put tongs and using a broom in the same category as street smart.
I don't.
What? What are you talking about?
It's all like stuff that you have to use with your hands
smarts.
and pulling and pushing and squeezing things.
Book smarts I'm good at, but street smarts, like using a broom and stuff. I don't really my
Like
strong.
Todd doesn't even need his opposing thumbs because he's never used them. I mean, he bats things around.
If none of you guys were around, I would have just picked up that tray of meat and just kind of dumped it on the plate without having to worry about the tongs. But now all of a sudden you got to be classy and professional and everything. And you
Well, we
gotta,
don't
use...
want your hands all
that I
over
understand.
it.
That's what I'm saying. If I was by myself, it would have gone down a lot differently.
Todd, all we asked you to do was just pick up the tongs. You make it sound like we were
In
asking
theory,
you.
it sounds like a very simple task.
Oh my God!
On
All right,
paper, it
then
shouldn't be a
you know
problem.
what? This weekend, work on your street smarts.
Yeah.
It is sad. You could graduate 2 in your. What does it say
You
about our
were
society?
second in your class.
In junior high school and high school, and I don't know how to use a broom or use tongs or anything.
Show brought to you by Mercedes-AMG. Be prepared for whatever comes your way. It's the all-new GT 4-door coupe because life is a race. Visit your local dealership for a test drive today. If you miss any interviews this week or any week from the Mercedes-AMG Man Cave, go to the Dan Patrick Show app. Watch and listen from inside the Mercedes-AMG Man Cave. Mercedes-AMG driving performance. We got the new shipment of T-shirts. We got the Tom Brady. Well, it's his first name is Tom. Paulie has on the Gronk. He's got that T-shirt on with Suns Out, Guns Out. We've got those T-shirts. But the other T-shirt, it could be Tom Brady related, or is there another guy named Tom on the Buccaneers, Paulie? Could you check?
Probably in the organization somewhere in the back office.
Yeah, maybe it's just a tribute T-shirt to that guy. And then on the back of that, his first name is Tom. I think it's we appreciate your enthusiasm.
Also from the cease and desist letter.
Our cease and desist letter that we got. Pat Forty, Sports Illustrated senior writer, looking good, joining us on the program. Pat, good morning. How's morale?
Hanging in there, Dan. Hanging in there. Groundhog Day over and over. If my hair grows any longer, I'm going to be an honorary Allman Brother here pretty soon. But we're making it.
All right, simple question. Who runs college football?
The oligarchy of the Power 5 conference commissioners. So basically a group of 5 guys runs the sport. There's nobody at the NCAA that seriously matters. And you can decide out of those 5 who the most important are. Probably Greg Sankey of the SEC and Kevin Warren of the Big Ten. And Kevin Warren's brand new.
What role does ESPN play in all of this?
Oh, they certainly have a role, no doubt about it. A big role. I think that they helped kind of push towards the creation of the playoff, and they will no doubt have a say in what happens this season. If we have a season, when we have a season, what it looks like, how long it lasts, and who's involved in the postseason.
I know that we want answers for something that's supposed to take place in a couple of months, and we can't come up with answers. But it feels like, if we set an arbitrary date and then we don't adhere to that, then all of a sudden, there's doom and gloom here. At what point do you say, if we don't have something that resembles football practice by this date, then the season's in jeopardy?
I think that you can go as long as August 1st before players are on campus and practicing. That would be the latest, I would say, for an on-time, on-schedule season. It could be more mid-July. People I've talked to, commissioners, ADs, basically June 1, they want to have a pretty good idea. June 15, they want to have a better idea. July 1, probably drop dead as far as yes or no, we're going to play starting August 29th / Labor Day weekend.
I was told by a source a couple of days ago that what you're probably going to look at, and this changes every day, but you'd have 10 games that you would play. 9 would be in the conference. And if you played a game outside the conference, Ohio State would play Ohio University, or it'd be a bus trip. You would not. But he said, look, the Pac-12 is the one that's really in trouble here because of what's going on in the state. And, you're all the way up in Washington, you're in Oregon, you're in Arizona. That's going to make it pretty tough. What do you make of those thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think that both are viable thoughts for sure. I think that they're looking definitely at models for a shortened season, conference heavy. As you said, maybe a non-conference game. They're going to definitely be trying to curtail expenses. The one thing that the Pac-12 obviously is a whole different situation right now. But even within conferences, Dan, in the ACC, Clemson may say, hey, let's go. Boston College may be saying, wait a minute. Yeah. In the Big Ten, Iowa may be saying, let's play. Rutgers is saying, we can't. Yep. So this is going to be fascinating to me. First of all, conference by conference. And is this the beginning of the long-discussed, prophesied schism of college football where a powerful group goes one way and everybody else goes the other, or not? Is it where the SEC says we're playing? The Big Ten says we're not sure whether we're playing. The Pac-12 says no, we're not. I think that this could open up some real fractures within the game that we've already seen, at least talked about for many years.
Yeah, I think those are great points, and I wonder if let's say the SEC says we're voting, we're playing. Vanderbilt says we can't do that. And does the SEC say, all right, hey, have a nice off season here. We're going to play football. Does the Big Ten say to Northwestern or Rutgers, sorry, guys, sorry you can't play? Like, are we going to get to that point where, it's almost infighting in the own conference?
Oh, I think that the conferences will do everything they can to avoid that, especially really SEC, Big Ten. The SEC, going back to Mike Slive, one of the hallmarks of his tenure was solidarity. We do everything together. We stay in lockstep. We're in agreement on big issues, even if we're not really. That's the public what we're going to present. So they'll try to avoid it. But yes, could it come to that? Absolutely. And I think that then you're looking at the event eventually is, well, why is Vanderbilt in our conference anyway? They don't really seem to fit here. Or, why did we bring Rutgers into the Big Ten? What have they done exactly? So I think this opens up a big philosophical can of worms going back to conference allegiance and alliances, some of these that are decades or almost a century old. I mean, I think people in the Big 12 have been sitting around, if you're in the state of Texas, saying, Iowa State, Kansas State, really? Do we need you? So these discussions could be had as we go along.
He's Pat Forty from Sports Illustrated, senior writer, covers not only college football, but basketball as well. And that's another thing when you start to look at the schedule, if it's moved back, and let's say we're playing football in the spring, do you have some of these first-round draft picks who look at this the way Christian McCaffrey looked at a bowl game and said, or Nick Bosa said, I'm going to shut it down here. Like, I wonder how far is too far if I don't know if Trevor Lawrence would do this, but I'm sure he'd have advisors to say, let's look at this and make a educated guess or decision.
Sure, no doubt about it. Look, Trevor Lawrence, my experience around him is he's a competitor. He's a team guy. He loves Clemson. He would love to play, but there could very well be some quote unquote cooler heads that would step in and say, look, son, you've got an $80 million future sitting out there when the NFL draft happens. And then you're going to go immediately into a training camp, into a rookie training camp, and then a full scale training camp. You want to be playing college football in the spring, going right up into that? What if you get hurt? What if something else happens? What if you're dead fatigued in the middle of the 2021 season in the NFL because you played a late college football season? So I think there's no doubt that those conversations would be had. And I think a lot of players would look askance at the spring schedule, at least the ones that are convinced they have a big dollar NFL future.
If I said you had to bet a week's pay if we have football coming up Labor Day weekend?
I would bet against at the moment. Since my week's pay in very much, it wouldn't be a big loss. But I think that, the hedge would be, if we do have it, we're going to have it with few or no fans. If you can give me that bet, I would take that. Otherwise, I would say the more likely, if we want to be sure we're playing football, I think it's probably more likely it's October 1st.
All right, I'll leave you with this. I know you love talking about Rick Pitino, no longer at Louisville, but the remnants are still there. NCAA knocked on the door again at Louisville. Here's Rick Pitino at Iona. Give us sort of the Cliff Notes version of what's happening and what could happen in this situation.
Yeah, Louisville got notice of allegations this week from the NCAA for not the strippers and hooker scandal, the one after the scandal after that scandal.
Oh, this is where they pay to recruit $100,000, right?
Yes, the $100,000 agreement for Brian Bowen, some other payments for other people. So they got a one level 1 violation allegation, which is the most serious, 3 level 2s. Pitino, I thought, was very fortunate to only get a level 2 allegation against him, but it's still a serious deal. That would preclude him. He would not be subject to a show cause penalty, which could take him out of things for a longer period of time, but he could be hit with up to a half-season suspension at Iona whenever this thing grinds through the NCAA process, which could be a year from now. So Pitino not off the hook, but probably got away a little bit lighter than some people expected. Louisville, on the other hand, could still get hammered. So he could be coaching theoretically in a postseason that Louisville is banned from.
But I wonder if the NCAA looks at Louisville, they decided to clean house, and are they a little more lenient on Louisville because Louisville took the right steps to get these people out of those positions?
Yeah, this is one of the more interesting cases, I think, in a while, Dan, for that reason, because Louisville got rid of everybody at a time when everybody else that was involved in the federal corruption probe got rid of nobody. Bill Self stayed. Sean Miller stayed. Will Wade stayed. Bruce Pearl stayed. Pitino was gone in a day. Tom Jurich, the AD, was gone in a short amount of time. The president of the school left. The board of trustees was remade. So they did a lot of things there. Now, the cynic among us may point out, well, yeah, they didn't do anything after the first scandal. They waited till the second one before they got rid of everybody. So it's going to be an interesting balancing act, I think, for the NCAA to decide. Do we smash a school that got rid of everyone, or do we give them credit for good behavior or reformed behavior?
Pat, great to talk to you as always. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Stay healthy.
That's Pat Forty, Sports Illustrated senior writer. We'll come back. Phone calls. Ben Roethlisberger didn't exactly get the stamp of approval, the seal of approval from Jay Glazer, who's good friends with Mike Tomlin. We'll talk about that with Big Ben. And should the Steelers have drafted a quarterback? Should the Steelers look at Cam Newton? We'll discuss that when we return, and our play of the day after this. Your greatest athletic achievement is what?
Well, my greatest one was a fly ball that on Love of the Game. I'd been working in Yankee Stadium for about 18 days, and I was really good to the extras. I was really good. I'd throw them balls. I'd hit fungo up the butt because we moved them. We'd move them all over the place. And on the last day, I was a little bit hyped up because I had to take some pills to be pretty juiced up. I really did. I was like, I'd been throwing 200 pitches a day.
Wait, you're taking amphetamines?
Yeah, whatever it was. I said, I'm not going to get through this. Because the last day we decided to, I'm not sure what it was, but the last day we shot 6 hours. We started that in the day, and that game ends at night. And we'd already established where all the hits went for the game. So and we put the cameras exactly where they went in a normal televised game. So we would have that coverage. And into the evening, the fans, the 3,000 or 4,000 fans, were right behind the third base dugout. A big fly ball goes up, and I just instinctively start running for it. Nobody else moves because it's not going to tie into the thing. And I already find myself across the line and right there, and it's like, I catch the ball or something like that or whatever. So I walk back, and I throw it again, No, I know what happens. The fly went there. I catch it. I look at everybody. You know, I toss. I just hold the ball and I start to walk back because I'm a little juiced up anyway. I just about and they're all the Yankee fans at this point. I'm just about to walk back to the mound and somebody said something derogatory toward me, and I stopped. And the guy who gave me the pills at one point said, he says, you're gonna growl at somebody at some point because of real whatever. And I didn't, and it bugged me because 18 days of treating him good. And I walked back, and now the 3,000 got really quiet. And I said, and everybody looked at me. Nobody said a word. And then I turned around to go back to the mound. And as soon as I started to go back to the mound, they're going like, Billy Champa, you suck. And then New York turned on me, man. These 3,000 extras, they turned on me. I'm walking the mound. I go, why did you do that, Kevin? After 18 days, why did you do that? I get to the mound, and guess what? This is my greatest feat. Another fly ball goes up there, but now it's a major league pop-up. And nobody moves again, and I realize I ran over there again. I think I'm juiced up. And now I'm in front of them, and the ball's coming down. I'm thinking, oh, and they're going, you suck, Billy. And they really hate me. You suck, Billy. And I'm thinking, oh, Jesus. And I go, catch it behind your back. I go, I can't catch it behind my back. I haven't caught it behind my back for about 15 years. Catch it behind your back. Now, if I catch it behind, they'll kill me. That thing you do in about 3 seconds, I finally go, tough shit. I put the glove behind my back, and the ball went in, and they're like really quiet, and I'm looking at them, and all 3,000 turned to the one guy who said the derogatory thing. Go, you suck. That's Billy Chappell. You suck. You suck. That's Billy Chappell. Yeah, Billy Chappell. And I realized they could have just killed me, humiliated but I had this internal dialogue that had to happen in a second, but it felt like a lifetime. So I walked back to the mound, and they were back on my side.
my God.
The play of the day.
Runner left side, got it! They're going to play it and play it.
This is the play of the day. Check this out.
Macchio embraces the ball and the unlikely upset. One of the great upsets in NBA playoff history. The 8th seed, a team that was 2 games over 500 on the season. The Denver Nuggets have beaten the team with the best record in the NBA, the Seattle Supersonics.
Dick Enberg with the call on NBC there. 1994 on this day. The Nuggets, an 8 seed, knocked out the number 1 seeded Supersonics. That's the first time an 8 had beaten a 1. It's happened 4 times since then. All right, test me on this, Paulie. The roster for the Nuggets, 1994. I know Dikembe Mutombo was there because we heard Dick Enberg say that. I think Mutombo ended up with the ball on the floor, holding it above his head.
Yeah, that was a classic shot where the cameraman's kind of twisting around.
Okay.
Okay, I'm try to give me the starting lineup if you can.
Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf is on the team.
Correct. Mutombo, of course.
Mutombo. Here's one for you. Bison Dele. Is Bison Dele on that team?
Yeah, he chipped in about 20 minutes off the bench.
All righty.
There's a couple that you'll get.
Brian Stith.
Yes, good call.
Reggie Williams. Out of Georgetown.
Reggie Williams, correct, yes. Starter.
Okay, so Reggie Williams.
You're down to one starter, a little energetic guard.
I thought that was Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf.
Another one, kind of a guy who's always like a hybrid starter, backup, high-energy guard. It's a tough one.
Okay. Give me a hint.
The hint is Robert Pack.
I was going to say Mark Macon.
Okay, one more starter, a power forward who is probably McLovin's favorite NBA player of all time.
McLovin's
out of Wake Forest.
Rodney Rogers.
Rodney Rogers.
Okay.
And then they had Dale Ellis coming off the bench.
Oh.
And Jalen Rose.
J-Ro was there?
Yeah, he did have a cup of coffee.
Oh, wow. That's good. All right.
Good job.
Play of the day. Play of the day brought to you by LegalZoom. You need to make it legal. Make it LegalZoom.com. No matter what happens, you want to make sure your loved ones are taken care of. That's why LegalZoom has made it easy to set up the right estate plan without leaving your home. Take care of your family today with the right estate plan at LegalZoom.com. Kendall in Houston leads us off today. What's on your mind, Kendall?
Sure. Hey, I was just going to say I got an email from the University of Texas president. My daughter goes there, just a broad email, saying they're planning to start school on time in the fall. And I know LSU's campus is opening up May 18th. So hopefully that's kind of sets the stage of, broad opening of schools and a big population headed back real soon.
All right. Well, thanks for the phone call, Kendall. Good luck to your daughter. All schools are planning to open up. I don't know if you have many that have said, hey, no fall classes, or we're not going to have students on campus. And maybe there are, and somebody can enlighten me on that. But as of now, here we are, early May. I don't think anybody is trying to handicap this. Now, eventually you're going to have to. We got the poll question, McLevin?
Yeah, which matchup do you want to see week one? It's actually interesting. It is the Bucks Chiefs, but there's a close second place. The Bucks versus Aaron Rodgers and the Packers.
Yeah,
really close.
Yeah, I like that one too. You don't want to risk losing those games, and that's what I want to see tonight with the schedule release party. Jay Glazer, who is good friends with Mike Tomlin, the Steelers head coach, had a Q&A with The Athletic yesterday where one of the questions was Ben Roethlisberger and the injury he suffered, even if he's 85% back, are they going to be in a competitive position? This is what Jay Glazer was asked. Glazer then responds by saying, first of all, let's not put the words fitness and Ben Roethlisberger together. They are allergic to each other. There is no fitness. His idea, great off-season workout program, is one yoga session, playing golf, and drinking some beer. Hell yeah. However, what Mike Tomlin and Ben Roethlisberger have done there has been incredible. Tomlin has never had a losing season with the Steelers. I want fans of other cities to realize that. Never had a losing season since he's been with Pittsburgh, despite the injuries. And, obviously not the same team that they were, where they lost Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown. I saw some video of Ben throwing the football. Now, I never looked at Ben as saying, wow, that's quite a physique. Well, I mean, I've said that, but that has nothing to do with him being in shape. Ben is never a guy, well, he used to be, where he was a good athlete coming out of high school. Even in college, he was a good athlete. His job is to sort of extend plays. I liken him to King Kong when he's on top of the Empire State Building. He's just swatting planes out of the way. Ben's as big, if not bigger, than most of the defenders going after him. Maybe he's packing on some pounds there because that'll help him when he gets into battle. I still would have drafted a backup quarterback. I would have drafted a quarterback, or I'd look at Cam Newton. And I got to push Ben a little bit here because Ben doesn't have much left. And what if that arm is not where it should be? Then I got Duck Devlin and Mason Rudolph, and it's already, tough sledding in that division. The Browns are going to be better. The Bengals should be better. And the Ravens are going to be really good. That's a team that should have got Jalen Hurts, in my opinion. Because just like Philadelphia, you have an insurance policy for the way your quarterback plays. You can say that Dallas is bringing in Andy Dalton to be their Nick Foles. Okay. I mean, if you want to sell that to Dak, good luck with that. Jalen Hurts is coming in because Carson Wentz. You got to protect Carson Wentz from Carson Wentz. But the Steelers, to me, needed Jalen Hurts or a legitimate backup quarterback. I thought Andy Dalton made a lot of sense there. I really did. Now, I don't know, because then you could see where Andy Dalton's 32. What's Ben, 36, 37 maybe? Yeah, Paul.
I don't think Glazer's being fair at all to Ben Roethlisberger. Roethlisberger suffers from two things. He's got big head syndrome, and he's got husky body syndrome.
Wait, he's got big head syndrome?
We've broken this down many times. He has a big head syndrome.
Does he have an 8 head?
He does have an 8 head. He also has jowls going back to when he was in high school. I got pictures of him in Miami, Ohio, and he's a big, thick dude then. He was 21 years old.
Big head syndrome.
He also has a husky body. His body type does not show definition. It has a bit of dumpiness to it, but doesn't mean there's not muscle tone and underneath that layer. Some people just don't have. It's like when Seth Rogen loses a bunch of weight. You're like, he looks weird. Doesn't he look weird when he's thin? Ben Roethlisberger has a body type. It does not mean he's not in shape because he looks out of shape. There's tons of muscle underneath there, possibly.
Big Head Syndrome. I've got their first 2 albums, and I saw them on tour. Yes, McLevin.
There's no way. He's probably lost a second on his 40 since he came into the NFL. He was tall and skinny out of Miami.
He doesn't need to run 40.
He was fast as all get out when he came into the league.
No, I'm not asking him to be that, McLovin. I just think, given what happened this past season, that's where you have to kind of rededicate yourself and say, if I'm going to make another run at this, let's go back and be all in. Now, Paulie goes, it's only May. He can lose 10 pounds. He can, but he needs to lose more than 10 pounds. I just want to know if the arm is healthy, first of all. And, is he taking this seriously? And I don't know if he is.
Cam Newton's jacked. Would you take him over Ben Roethlisberger?
Right now?
No.
Yes.
Really?
Yes. If you said is Cam healthy?
No. I mean, he is what he is. He is what you know now.
Okay, well then that's not fair.
Well, no, they both are what they are now. Cam Newton looks like a model of a quarterback on a TV show. He's completely shredded.
If I'm a Steeler fan and I could get Cam Newton at 32 and he's going to be healthy, I would take Cam Newton.
That's hot.
Well, because Ben's only going to play one more year, I'm guessing. So Ben's, how old is he, Paulie?
He's 38. He just turned 38.
Yeah, come on.
Wow.
Okay, let me ask you the question now. Cam Newton's healthy, and Ben is Ben. Who do you want?
Ben, because I've never thought Cam Newton is a great passer.
Is he a great quarterback?
3 years ago.
Okay.
4 years ago, yeah.
Well, Ben's coming off a arm injury.
But Ben has had seasons, multiple, where he's been a top 3 NFL quarterback.
Yeah. He's a Hall of Famer. I'll give you that. I wanted to know the last time the Bengals signed a free agent. Boomer Esiason was a free agent. John Kitna. Give me somebody recent here. Terrell Owens was 2010. Terrence Newman, James Harrison, and Roy. So they haven't. When's the last meaningful free agent? That was James Harrison in 2013. Come on. I don't know why
he was like 36 or 37 at the time. That doesn't count.
No, I mean the Bengals don't get free agents, and you got to factor that in with Joe Burrow's development there. It's going to take him a while. Yeah, Paul.
Also, it's unfair that it's Ben Roethlisberger and he got the name Big Ben. If his name was Tim, he wouldn't have Big in front of Tim.
And he's got Burger at the end of his name. Right. It's not like Ben Roethlisberger.
Roethliskale.
Yeah, what are you thinking, Seton?
Roethlis something or other.
Ben Roethlis something.
Oh, my gosh. It's still one of the great moments in SportsCenter history. Google it, kids. Google it. It brings Seton to tears.
The best.
Oh,
my favorite thing.
Ben Roethlis.
here. Fritzy, do you mind standing up? We have a money-making opportunity. We are going to sell squeaky sneakers for teams to pump in during broadcast. Fritzy, do you mind walking across the floor?
No, regularly.
Okay. They are very squeaky.
But if you could move a little faster, like how would it? No.
No.
Well, then it goes away.
Yeah, I
walk fast.
Why is it squeaking? You guys' shoes aren't really doing that.
Squeak.
I don't know what that is.
Back, baby. I think if you put down a certain amount of weight.
Oh, okay.
That gets by.
I don't know why, but I did.
Is there a weight-related thing to squeaking?
I was going to bring that up. I was going to bring it up.
Oh, no.
That is.
And I said to Paulie, do you have something for this live look? And he goes, yeah, because I thought, okay, I can't start out of the gate being that mean-spirited.
Yeah.
You were going to bring up the sneakers?
Yes.
Yes, you were.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No, well, but why is, I was hearing that too, but I didn't realize it was.
But I can hear you. I would be over here and I go.
Are you saying those shoes are maxed out?
Hey, Fritzy.
You can
But
hear
they're not that old.
way before.
I can. I can be in the bathroom and hear Fritzy drop something off at my desk.
But it's like galoshes. Well, why is it squishy like that?
I thought that maybe they were wet.
Why is it?
But they're not. They're like perfectly dry, but they're making that awful sound.
Why is it squishy?
I don't understand why my shoes are making that much noise.
But you had to have heard that before you got here, right?
You should take them back. Oh.
Can you take those back and say they're too squishy?
Hey, another shot, man.
Too squishy?
We are back.
No, they're all stained and everything.
Buckle up, boys. Time to go to work. Hi. My name's Dan. I'm a Taurus. I'm a male model, and I like pesto.
Welcome, one and all, to the Dan Patrick Show.
I got a half hour here before I'm going to be in bed.
Where tensions are running high as we wait for sporting to resume.
I got to get sports back. They got to.
Dan's feeling it.
I'm mad as hell.
You're feeling it.
Chat row's killing me all show, Dan. They're mean.
But when it comes to the biggest guests and best interviews,
Paul Feinbaum, Brooks Koepka, Will Ferrell, Jason Hare. He's the director of ESPN's The Last Dance.
those will never go away.
No. Can't do that. Hard no.
Broadcasting from the Mercedes Man Cave.
And if you get there late, you get a bologna sandwich.
This is Dan Patrick.
It's hour 2 on this Thursday. Dan and the Danettes, Dan Patrick Show. We were just planning the Meat Friday menu. Sorry, Fritzy and McLovin and Seaton. Yeah, so Paulie and I weren't sure. I was thinking lobster tomorrow.
Lobster on Meat Friday.
Yeah, I think some lobster sandwiches on the Traeger.
Do we need some turf to go with the surf?
We can do that. But yeah, we're planning the menu for tomorrow. You guys don't need to worry about it. Yes, Seaton?
I just saw the other day somebody had like a lobster grilled cheese sandwich. I'm just saying, if you guys want to throw that on there.
Well, you can do like mac and cheese with lobster thrown in there.
Yeah.
Sounds like that'd be tasty there.
This is a grilled cheese sandwich, and they put lobster in it. Man, did it look good.
Yeah, I'll let you know how it tastes tomorrow. Yes, good friend Paulie.
Lobster rolls on the East Coast, traditionally for those out there, are either with hot butter, like warmed butter, and lobster meat, or a cold lobster roll with more like mayo, tarragon, chives, and so forth. Which do you prefer, Dan?
I like the warm.
You do?
Yeah, I like it warm. Some like it hot.
Your
I like
local
it warm.
place is notorious for warm lobster rolls.
Yes. Yeah, Seven Seas has some of the best lobster rolls. Did I ever tell you when my brother-in-law came to town, he would come in the Connecticut area for business. And he said, hey, I'm going to be in the area. Maybe I'll stop by and we could have lunch. So we had lunch, and he had never had a lobster roll there. So he said, this is unbelievable. So he got one and he got another one. The next day, he comes back to the restaurant for lunch. I don't know he's there. He doesn't even tell me because he doesn't want me to realize he's ordering 2 more lobster rolls. And I walk in because I was getting a salad from there, and I look over and he's in the corner by himself. I said, Matt, and he was shocked and embarrassed. He's like, hey. I said, what are you doing? He goes, having lobster rolls? I said, okay. Like, I won't tell my sister you're having 4 lobster rolls in 2 days. I busted him. So,
have you ever heard the backstory of lobster as a food? Lobster was like junk food for workers, like workers on the East Coast who worked on ships and ports and docks. And 100 years ago, lobster was the like gristle. It was junk. And then over the years, it's changed to be a high-end, expensive food. But back in the day, it was not.
But isn't there another food that was like that it started out as basically we're going to give this to people who had lower incomes, and then maybe it became a little bit more. I mean, the Italians with pasta, I don't think that was something that cost a lot of money. And then, we look at pasta now, and people pay good money to go to Italian restaurants there. I thought that there was a food that was sort of here, we're going to give this to you, lower on the totem pole than people are a little bit higher on the totem pole. Yeah, Paul.
There's an article in Bon Appetit magazine that lobsters were once fed to poor people and to prisoners.
Wow.
And it's changed over the past 100 years.
Yeah. I mentioned at the tail end of last hour about Ben Roethlisberger, a video out there of him throwing the football and he trying to get his arm back in shape. And then you had Jay Glazer sort of joking that Ben, his workout session in the offseason is 1 yoga class, play some golf, and drink some beer, which that sounds like my workout routine, but I'm not an NFL quarterback. I don't know. All right, stay with me here on conspiracy. Mike Tomlin and Jay Glazer are good friends. Does Mike Tomlin say to Jay Glazer, hey, can you help me out here? Can you maybe prod a little bit? Can you motivate Ben Roethlisberger here? I'm just guessing here because Tomlin talking to Jay Glazer, and Glazer probably said, hey, how's Ben doing? And, Tomlin probably says, playing a lot of golf and drinking beer. And Glazer probably had this Q&A with The Athletic, and he had these People ask questions about Ben, if he's 85% healthy. What do you think of the Steelers' chances? This might be a little motivation that Mike Tomlin is asking Jay Glazer to do him a solid here and send it. Yes, McLovin.
Doesn't Jay trying to get everyone into his gym? Isn't that his
It's
thing?
true.
Like,
He's not getting Ben. Ben's not going into the dojo. He's not. If he is, it'd be to pick up somebody. He's not going to stay.
Remember when Seton had his trip to the dojo? That didn't end well.
Glazer gets people in there and he works them out. You know, he gets great results, and there's a lot of athletes who go in there. But no, Ben is not. Ben's got one more year, right? Is he 38?
Yeah, just turned 38 2 months ago.
Who else? The Steelers got Mason Rudolph and Duck Devlin, right? Man, you're not set up for the future. Why is it that the Steelers aren't set up for the future, but the Packers are set up for the future? I got Rodgers, who still plays at a pretty high level. And they draft Jordan Love, who's not going to be ready. Here's another thing. Source told me this yesterday. We were talking about Jordan Love. He said, if you're not ready to play for at least 2 years at the quarterbacking position, you're not a first-round draft pick. Not in today's NFL. You're not a first-round draft pick. How many quarterbacks are drafted and they have – understand this. Jordan Love is supposed to be maybe a watered-down version of Patrick Mahomes. Maybe, or his style is like Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes sat for 1 year behind a Pro Bowl quarterback who led them to the playoffs in Alex Smith, and he became the starter. They traded Alex Smith. And we looked at Patrick Mahomes and said, maybe he's a little rough around the edges. Maybe it's going to take him a little time. You know, he's got some bad tendencies here, got a great arm. He's athletic. He's smart. That took 1 year. Now you're telling me that Jordan Love is going to take 2 to 3 years? That's not a first-round quarterback. Not. Jalen Hurts is ready to play now more than Jordan Love is, in my opinion. Yeah, Paul.
It's true, but I just went back and looked at a bunch of draft profiles and negative draft comments on Patrick Mahomes when he's selected, and the word project is used. He's a great prospect. He has great throwing ability, but he has never played in an NFL system. There's a lot of good future quarterback possibility stuff with Mahomes.
Well, I think that's where, and obviously Andy Reid knows quarterbacks, and Andy saw something and said, I can make that work. I don't know how many other teams. Now, this is where you get revisionist history. Hey, we had a high grade. Now, Sean Payton, to his credit, did say they were taking Patrick Mahomes. If the Chiefs did not take him, they were taking him. And he said that. I haven't heard any other team say, you know what, we had a really high grade on Patrick Mahomes. You know, you have teams now that talk about Russell Wilson. Oh, you know, we were going to take him. Oh, we had him high on the board. Everybody passed on him a couple of times through. So you weren't that high on him. If you were, you would have done what the Packers did with Jordan Love. Imagine that. Jordan Love is not ready to play. Now, people looked at Russell Wilson as a backup quarterback. He was going to be like Tavares Jackson. We just don't know. He was compared to Seneca Wallace. That's why when it comes to quarterback play, I don't know what Jordan Love is going to be. Because I've had people in Wisconsin say, you might be eating your words on Jordan Love. That's okay. I don't know how good he is. So if I'm eating my words, it's don't take Jordan Love now. He doesn't help you now unless you don't think this team is truly a 13-win team, which they clearly don't. The over-under is 9 for the Packers. You're taking Jordan Love. You've never taken a wide receiver in the first round. A draft that was full of wide receivers. You didn't get one. Prior to the draft, I said on the show, there's enough wide receivers that every team will get one. Well, guess who didn't? Green Bay. And I think they rely on Aaron too much, or they have, to make something happen. You're Aaron Rodgers, go out there and make something happen. We're going to spend our draft picks on other things. Well, defense wasn't any good last year against San Francisco 49ers, right? And that's the style you want to try to emulate. And you're not going to be as good as the 49ers anytime soon. With their offense and their defense, you're not going to be as good as them. Your quarterback play is better than their quarterback play. But they got better skill position players. Had a great draft, brought in a tackle, Trent Williams going to start for him, left tackle. If that's who you're measuring yourself against, you didn't do a good job in the offseason. And if this is a long-term play, all right, 3 years. When's the last time a quarterback waited 3 years to start? Aaron Rodgers? I don't even know if Phillip Rivers waited 3 years. I think maybe it was 2. Carson Palmer waited 1 year. He sat behind John Kitna. And Kitna was 8-8 that year, and I remember Peter King mentioning him for MVP that year with what he did with that team. Yeah, Paulie?
You're right. Phil Rivers started first 2 years on the bench. He was 25 when he made his first start. Can you imagine that now?
Oh, it'd be unheard of. But Joe Burrow's 23. This is why the scouts love Trevor Lawrence. Now, first of all, it's what you can't have, and you always love what you can't have. And he's a better prospect because we haven't seen his ceiling. We saw Joe Burrow's ceiling. This goes back to the Deshaun Watson question. Does he need to show you anything else? And apparently, Deshaun Watson didn't show NFL teams enough because he fell in the draft. Joe Burrow, high ceiling, the highest ceiling that we've ever seen with a college football quarterback, what the numbers were. Nobody has come close to something like that. All right. Now he goes into the NFL. He's 3 years older, I believe, than Trevor Lawrence. The scouts are looking at this and saying, Trevor Lawrence is this good at this age. Joe Burrow is this good at this age. Will Trevor Lawrence be better than Joe Burrow at age 23? And that's what you're banking on. Like scouts look at Joe Burrow and say, yeah, he has potential to be a good quarterback. That was the quote I got yesterday. He can be a good quarterback. I said, wait. What about the Brady with athleticism comparisons here? And he goes, I didn't say it. And I said, well, Rick Neuheisel said he's Brady with athleticism. And the scout goes, I respect Rick Neuheisel. Joe Burrow has a chance to be a good quarterback. Trevor Lawrence has a chance to be a Hall of Fame quarterback. And I went, okay. All right. I'm going to have to be convinced there. He looks like a franchise quarterback. He looks like the sure thing, just like Andrew Luck. When you watch Trevor Lawrence, and maybe I look at it differently, if I was going to have a movie and I needed to have a quarterback or, an actor play a quarterback, he would look like Trevor Lawrence. Like if Beverly Hills 90210 had a football team, Trevor Lawrence would be my quarterback. Have the flowing hair.
Even the name.
Yeah. Trevor. And they'd call him Trev or TL. Yes, McLovin.
But what else is Trevor Lawrence supposed to do? He's having the best college career of all time. I mean, he won as a freshman. He got the title game as a sophomore. It's unbelievable. I mean,
he's not having a better college career than Tim Tebow did.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not.
Okay. Well, if he continues on this pace.
I mean, he's better, but he's not having a better career.
Right. He doesn't put up the numbers of those guys, but success-wise, he's been way up there.
Well, he plays in the ACC. Come on. Give me a break.
That's helped a lot.
Yes.
But we killed Alabama in the national title game.
I know, he did. And then he got killed against LSU.
All these quarterbacks, Tua had the best rating in the history of the sport. Like now everyone in offense is putting up huge numbers. I can't tell.
Why are you yelling at me?
Because of Trevor Lawrence bet.
You're probably going to. Did you find the Vegas odds of Trevor Lawrence being the number one
no,
pick? Like, this was a gift I gave you for all the dedication, all the times that you took a shower, shame, a wheel of punishment. I gave you a gift, McLovin.
But Justin Fields is great. I heard Kuiper say the other day that he might pass Lawrence.
I don't know if he is. I don't know if he is. He looks like he's better than Dwayne Haskins. If I'm going to gauge it, well, okay, is he better than the quarterback he replaced? I think he's going to be better than Dwayne Haskins. So, he's more athletic. He runs with the football. I mean, Trevor Lawrence fits the profile. He checks the box for everything that they want. Oh, he's a tall quarterback. He's athletic. Big arm. Leader. He's got it all. Yeah, McLovin.
Would you put Justin Fields in the same category where he might sit out then because of the same situation that Trevor Lawrence, if they push the football back to the spring?
I don't know. If I look at this, if I'm a GM and I look at a quarterback who wants to shut it down, let's say we have spring football and are you going to run the risk of getting hurt or, the draft will be coming up. You don't want to see a quarterback shut it down. I can understand when Bosa did this. I can understand when McCaffrey did this. Did Fournette do this as well, where they decided that they
Fournette skipped the bowl game and McCaffrey skipped the bowl game.
Yeah. I get it. At those positions, I get it. I wouldn't want my quarterback to shut it down. If I'm going to look at drafting a quarterback, I wouldn't want to look at him and go, yeah, but he kind of quit on his team. So I'm guessing Trevor Lawrence is going to play. I'm going to guess Justin Fields is going to play as well. I saw an article about Leonard Fournette. This was it was a blog about Leonard Fournette. The Draft Network talked about Leonard Fournette and that he's not a bad football player. It's just because 2 of his 3 seasons he's had over 1,000 yards rushing. But his impact as a runner is not something that should have been taken in the top 10, especially given Jacksonville's quarterbacking problems. So they missed on these quarterbacks as well, and they took Leonard Fournette. He's missed 16 games the last 3 years as well, but, he's taken 4th overall. If Leonard Fournette is taken in the 2nd round, we're looking at him completely different. Man, it'd be like, what a steal they got. Alvin Kamara is great because he went in the, 3rd round? Kareem Hunt, because where you drafted him. The Jags chose not to exercise the 5th-year option. Well, you have these expectations when you go 30 or you go 4th instead of 34th. Dalvin Cook, Alvin Kamara, Joe Mixon, Kareem Hunt drafted beyond where Jacksonville picked at the top of day 2. So, you just start to look at this, and Leonard Fournette, at that position, nobody's going to be using a top 10 pick on a running back. I can't imagine anytime soon. If you were redrafting, Christian McCaffrey is probably not taken in the top 10. Is Saquon Barkley taken number 2 overall by the Giants? Probably not. Yeah, Paul.
Dan, you say that, but every 3 or 4 years, there's that guy who bowls people over, and there's like, you can't believe what he does, and you assume he's going to do the exact same thing. Reggie Bush, you think he's going to do the exact same thing. Saquon Barkley, and they can't do that because the pros aren't set up for that. And you just fall in love and use a top 10 pick.
It's a different game. It used to be that those running backs, that's what you wanted. You needed those running backs. Now you don't. I mean, Fournette became more valuable because what did he catch? 70 passes last year? I mean, that's a good season. But for the 4th pick overall, he doesn't make Jacksonville better. All right? And Nick Chubb is just as valuable, if not more so, than Leonard Fournette because of where you drafted him. That's the key. When you didn't exercise the 5th-year option, that tells you everything you need to know about a player. He's a bust from the standpoint of you took him 4th overall. Even though he's had production, you're not even going to keep him for a 5th year, which you would want to keep somebody for the 5th year, in my opinion. Run him as much as you can, and then you move on to your next running back. Yeah, Paul.
Nick Chubb is going to cost the Browns $4 million over 4 seasons, and he's one of the best running backs in football. He's basically almost free.
I love Nick Chubb. And there were times when I said, well, you guys stop trying to force the ball to Odell Beckham Jr. III. Give it to Nick Chubb. Help out Baker Mayfield here. No, we got to keep forcing the ball in there. We're going to get it to Odell. What does Nick Chubb average per carry, Paul?
In 2 seasons, he's averaging 5.1 yards per carry. Damn. He and Derrick Henry are the best breakaway backs in the league.
And where did Derrick Henry go in the draft? Was he late 1st round, McLevin?
I thought he was second
round. Okay.
I believe.
Yeah.
But Nick Chubb doesn't win. I don't know why. He's amazing, but they can't. Why is it that even the good running backs aren't really high winners?
Well, that might be how he's used.
Yeah.
Because you have Nick Chubb, now I'm able to go draft. I can use Myles Garrett, get Myles Garrett. I can get these guys, get an offensive lineman. I mean, I don't put the Browns, when they win or lose, on Nick Chubb. I put that on the coaching staff and the quarterback play. Yeah, McLevin.
I don't understand with all that skill position talent how they didn't win more last year. I mean, this is partly fan speaking, but they look so good on paper.
But you had a coach who shouldn't have been the head coach. And you had Baker who was doing all these commercials, and now you got to live up to the hype here. I got Odell Beckham who wants his touches. Jarvis Landry wants his touches. Like, it's a recipe for disaster. You need to have an all-in mentality there. And that means if Odell Beckham gets 55 catches, hopefully he does damage with most of those catches, or Jarvis Landry. But you have to say this is what we are. We have to, shrink this playbook a little bit, be a little more conservative so Baker is not trying to make the home run play every single play. And I think they got into that. Like, you're watching and he was staring down Odell Beckham, and I kept thinking, this is where these other guys step up, or you can utilize them. I just thought the offense was never in sync. And you do have as much talent as anybody there. I got 2 running backs. It feels like if you're going to have a running style, like that would be a team that could have a running style. It's just Odell Beckham is there, as great as he is, as talented as he is. He would not be the guy I want with Baker Mayfield. I need a guy who will help him, and it doesn't feel like Odell Beckham is that way. He's a star. He wants to be featured as a star. I don't know if Baker is capable of doing that with him without upsetting everybody, the rest of the offense there. But that's why you got a new head coach there. And Baker Mayfield is on the clock in Cleveland this year, because we got to find out if he's the rookie Baker Mayfield or the second-year Baker Mayfield. Because if it's the latter, then all of a sudden Cleveland is going to be interested in a quarterback. 22 after the hour. Phone calls are coming up. Take a break here. We'll check in with the Iowa head coach, Kirk Ferentz. Sounds like he's bringing his team back on June 1st. We'll talk to him about all these different scenarios with college football a little bit later on. Back after this in the Dan Patrick Show. Check things all the time. Email, Instagram. Check something important. Check your credit. Discover makes it quick and easy. When's the last time you did check your credit? Paulie, when's the last time you checked your credit?
In all seriousness, last night. I get alerts. They send alerts right to you.
Did you get an alert that I was going to ask you about your credit today?
Yes, that's how good they are.
Man,
if you work on a radio show, they'll give you alerts.
Discover is now offering FICO credit scores that's used by 90% of the top lenders. It's for free even if you're not a customer. The Discover Credit Scorecard, free for everyone. Learn more at discover.com/credit scorecard. Limitations apply. You don't know how to use a broom.
Not really.
You couldn't cut down the nets.
I needed
when
a
we
lefty
left
scissor.
the old man.
Scissors are
cave.
an issue.
Scissors you can't use.
Yeah.
And you picked up tongs and you didn't know how to use tongs.
I understand the concept of the tongs, but I was kind of using them like chopsticks or something. It was just I was having a tough time with it.
But you're a New batch of T-shirts. This is the Rob Gronkowski, Suns Out, Guns Out, sleeveless, of course, tank top for Gronk, the Gronkaneers. That's the back of that. Comes in white. And we also have the T-shirt version of Gronkaneers. These are available on the website. Then we have my favorite. When we got our cease and desist letter, part of the letter says his first name is Tom, in case we didn't realize that, and his last name is Brady, and he wears number 12. Well, we figured we'd put that on the T-shirt since we can't sell the Tampa Bay T-shirts anymore. And then in the cease and desist, they did say that they appreciated our enthusiasm. So there you have it. These are the new additions there.
It's cozy.
These are nice and soft.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those are the new T-shirts there, available on the website danpatrick.com, and buy them now before the next cease and desist letter shows
I don't think I've ever seen you fold.
I'm called Nick Fold. Nick Fold.
You didn't work at the Gap.
Nick Folds is my name. The Gap. Well, the Gap's going out of business, aren't they? Or was that J. Crew? Saw where Jadeveon Clowney, probably not going back to Seattle, goes back to the draft, where we wondered at the time, could he live up to that hit that he had on the Michigan running back?
Vincent Smith.
Yeah. Was that the Outback Bowl?
Yes.
He had that incredible tackle, and everybody fell in love with Jadeveon Clowney. And we had heard a lot about him at South Carolina. Plus, you know, you had this single-digit number that we loved. You know, big recruit there for Steve Spurrier. He hasn't lived up to that hit in the Outback Bowl. Now, he's a good player. What struck me is, I said to Paulie, Jadeveon Clowney looks like a freak of nature. But he hasn't had 10 sacks in a season, which I find incredible. I thought he was going to be like, remember the Titans had the freak? Javon Curse. I thought, wow, if they get somebody like that, if he's anywhere near Javon Curse, how good would that be? Yeah, Paul.
I guess this would be a question for everybody. I was looking back at the number one draft picks, and the guys who I think we would have thought they're going to the Hall of Fame. I think Clowney would have been a guy you'd at a week's pay who's going to the Hall of Fame someday. Andrew Luck would have, and things have changed. But if you look at the number one overall draft picks of the past 20 years, the only one going to the Hall of Fame is probably Eli Manning, going all the way back to 2004. There's lots of names. You know, Jared Goff's got a long way to go, but Cam Newton, Sam Bradford, Matt Stafford, maybe. Jake Long, nope. Jamarcus Russell, nope. Mario Williams, nope. Alex Smith, no. Then you go to Eli Manning in 2004, and even he is a debate.
Well, McLevin sent me a list here of the most recruited players. This is, what's the time frame here, Andy?
Okay, this is old. This is from 2011, so it misses the last decade.
Okay.
It's amazing, though.
You want to clear your
number
throat?
three? Sorry. Guess who the second? There are three quarterbacks at the top. You will never guess who they are.
These are the most recruited. The highest recruited?
Yes, out of high school.
So coverage out of high school is what we're talking about.
Exactly.
Okay.
2011.
I'm going to say Matt Barkley is in there.
He's 8.
Oh, this is a...
2 come from one of the favorite teams of 2 Danettes. Notre Dame.
Oh,
wow, I just peeked.
Is Terrell Pryor on there?
Yes, he's high, but he's not top 3. He's very high. He's like 9.
Okay, so Notre Dame has 2 quarterbacks on there?
Yes.
All right.
It's a little unfair because this is old, but you'll remember these guys coming out of high school.
Wait, this wasn't the guy who Bino Cook said would win 2 Heismans? Ron
Paulus.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That was unfair to that kid.
But he was very hot as a freshman. He was one of those guys. I can remember Musburger saying, take a good look at this kid because the NFL is going to want him.
But didn't they make him into a running back?
No, you're thinking the kid who went to quarterback Dan Kendra. He went to FSU.
Yes, yeah.
And he was a high-end. This is my wheelhouse, by the way, 80s, 90s college football. Dan Kendra was a big Florida State recruit, and they made him a fullback later in his career.
There you go.
Possibly shooting guard at Duke, too, right?
Peyton Manning on the list?
He's 5. Another Notre Dame quarterback is high up. One that Mel Kiper was enthusiastic about.
Jimmy Clausen.
Number 2. I don't remember that. Was he a big recruit?
That was a big deal. And then who's the number 1 most?
Number 3. No. It goes Palace. Clausen, number 3, is a great friend of the show. Little pedigree. His dad was an NFL quarterback.
Oh, Chris Sims.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chris was there was a battle.
He's going to Tennessee.
Yeah, big battle. A lot of coverage about that one.
Who else is on that list? These are the most hyped players, or the most highly recruited players? And Jadeveon Clowney's on that list, correct?
Yeah, so this came out in 2011, and at that time he was like number 7 on there. But you nailed it. Terrell Pryor was on there. Matt Barkley was on there. I don't remember. Matt Barkley was a huge deal for USC.
Yeah. Was he modern day, or was he De La Salle?
Let's see. Matt Barkley. Yeah, modern day.
Oh.
And then there was Lorenzo Booker, who was a Florida State running back. I remember him as a player.
Booker was a big deal because when we were back at ESPN, he was one of the first guys, maybe the first guy, who declared with 3 hats on live TV on ESPN News. And he declared for Florida State, and that wasn't happening back then. He kind of invented it with ESPN.
2 others, Tim Couch and also Adrian Peterson. Adrian Peterson, that seems like he would have been big, right?
I don't remember. It's usually the quarterback. I don't remember how good. I remember watching Matt Barkley when he was in high school. Now, I would watch those Friday night games, and I remember just what a big deal he was back then. But then usually anybody going to USC back then, it was a big deal. Fournette was a big deal. Marshall Faulk was a big deal. Yeah, there were certain guys where you go, man, that guy, he can't miss. That guy's unbelievable. Remember the guy who went to Kansas? He was a quarterback. His name was Bubba.
He went to baseball.
Yes,
yeah.
and I remember reading an article that he was either going to play football at Kansas or play baseball. Is he still playing baseball?
Did he end up at Nebraska? Bubba Starling?
Yeah, but he never went. He's a Royal. He was the 5th pick in the draft. I think he's still in baseball and still with a possibility to become okay. He never did play football.
Oh, so he wasn't going to was he from Kansas but going to Nebraska? Is that what it was? But I remember that was one of those. He was a Tim Tebow-like.
Yeah. But the money at baseball seemed better, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, if you can make it. Absolutely. All right, we'll get some phone calls in here. Every time I see the new episodes coming up with The Last Dance with Jordan, they start the trailer, the promo, I'm on SportsCenter. And it's so weird where sometimes I'll be looking up on the TV and I'll see myself and I go, wait, what am I doing? Oh, that's like 25 years ago. Hair looked pretty good.
You know, a lot of airtime this week. They've run his promos 18 times an hour.
I know. Yes, Todd.
Last Sunday night, I heard your voice several times. Are they going out of their way to not to show you? They put Bill Patrick's face up there during SportsCenter and several others, but there was at least 3 or 4 times when I heard your voice, and I went to my wife and son and said, "That's Dan." Just a younger, higher pitched version of Dan. I didn't understand why they couldn't just show you for a second.
I don't know if we need to do the high pitch stuff. I mean,
wow.
Like where did that come
Todd
from?
hasn't talked in 2 hours.
No, I mean like a younger voice. That's what I meant by higher pitch. Not a bad sounding voice. You wouldn't have made it to SportsCenter if there was something strange with your voice. Just a younger sounding Dan Patrick. But I don't know why they couldn't put you on there.
Yeah. Who's high pitch? Yes,
It was a different era in media. It's
Yeah,
okay.
but you could phrase it, Fritzy, like youthful and velvety. I mean, there's a way to
I could have
say
chosen a better word.
Yeah, I mean,
It wasn't meant to be a shock.
I didn't have a high pitch.
buttery
back
and
then.
fresh.
I guess high pitch probably isn't the best word to use. I didn't realize you get offended so quickly. I thought I'm the sensitive one.
I think that
a
you
more
were
younger sounding voice.
You were still finding the radio voice that we've now all
There you go.
come to know and love.
He's even bailing me out. I appreciate it.
Not really.
If I say you look husky,
Is that you taking a shot right now at me? Or
no, I'm just
a
saying,
hypothetical?
is that a compliment?
And it would not be a compliment.
Okay.
Probably better off saying, you could lose a few or something like that. That's probably a more gentle way of saying it.
But
and it brings back bad memories because when I was a kid, I went to a jean store and they had Slim and Husky with the actual names of the two divisions of the pants.
I'm
And
going
when
to
there's
start calling you Butch Husky. Former New
I'll
York
never
Met.
never forget Lori Greenblatt walking around on the girl's side, and I said hi to her, and there she sees me as my mom picks up the Husky pants and has me go into change when it was just like a little napkin on a string was basically the curtain that gave you the privacy while you're changing, and your little underwear, your underoos are sticking out, and there's just zero privacy. Trying on the old Husky 34s.
Thank you, Todd.
You're welcome.
Couple of phone calls in here. Caleb in North Carolina. Hey, Caleb, what do you have for me today?
Hey, Dan. First time, long time, 6'5", 250. And I just wanted to get y'all's thoughts on, with college budgets getting cut, do you think we'll see a change to more regional conferences throughout the Power Five and the Group of Five?
I really don't know, Caleb. Like this is, and thanks for the phone call. It just feels like the longer this goes, the less I know about what college football, college sports is going to resemble. You had all those sports that were canceled in the spring, but then inviting those athletes, if they want to come back and try to do it again next spring. We don't even know what next spring is going to look like. Is college football going to start on time? Probably not. Are we going to have fans in the stands? Probably not. Are we going to have 10 games instead of 12 or 13? Probably so. I just don't know. Can kids go to school? If there is no school, can you be on campus? What if Vanderbilt says, we're not going to have classes on campus, and then Georgia says, we are, and Alabama says, we are? What if Northwestern says, look, football is not paramount here. We're not going to be playing football. We're not going to be traveling. Students aren't going to be on campus. What if Ohio State, Michigan State say, well, we are? It's the wild, wild west, or at least it has the potential to be the wild, wild west. And I just don't know. And I don't know if anybody knows. I hope Kirk Ferentz knows something, the Iowa head coach. He'll join us coming up next hour. Yeah, Paulie.
There's something in me as a hardcore college football fan that would love to see them, or not love to see them, but if it happens that the season gets pushed back, let's say 6 weeks, can you imagine the college football being played in the winter in some of these local states? You know, Minnesota and different places.
Yeah.
It would be fascinating to see if they delved into February with the playoffs.
But we don't even know about the NFL. You have the schedules being released tonight. And I said this in the first hour, and I'll remind you about this. This is wishful scheduling because we don't know what the first month of the season is going to be like. Will we have a first month of the season? Will we have 12 games? And when they started to look at the schedule, I don't have confirmation on this, but I have asked, and I have somebody looking into this. Is there a 16-game, 14-game, and 12-game schedule that they have in place? And I believe that that's going to be the case. Just the contingency plans. The California teams might have to – the San Francisco 49ers might be sharing Mile High Stadium with the Broncos. You know, maybe we have another team in Vegas with the Raiders. Maybe there's going to be a team that will play in Arizona sharing a stadium with the Cardinals. These are contingency plans, and I think it's real. Yes, Eden.
I've never been more excited about the schedule release, though. I can tell you that. I usually ignore it. I'm like, whatever. Let's figure out who's playing. But this year, I'm like, this is going to be awesome. Get the popcorn out.
Matt in South Carolina. Hi, Matt. What do you have for me today?
Hey, what's up, DP? Colin, you're talking about Trevor Lawrence. McLovin hit the nail on the head with this one because he is absolutely can't miss. Like, a lot of people think he digressed, which, like, if you just look at film, he probably did. But by numbers, he didn't. Like, he set the bar for himself so high his freshman year that his numbers his second year were actually a little bit better. Pretty much the same, a little bit better with just a few more picks. His numbers last year were actually better than Deshaun Watson's were the year Deshaun came in second in the Heisman. So, McLovin, keep carrying that sword. I wish you could pull a little bit more recent recruiting rankings. Probably no other radio show doing deep dive into highly recruited 2011 players, but
that's a shot there. That's a shot there by Matt, and well done. Well done. Yes, McLovin.
I don't think it's really a hot take to jump on the Trevor Lawrence bandwagon by me, by the way. That was kind of a layup.
Yeah, I know.
I also like Joe Burrow and Tua Tagovailoa, by the way.
Yeah. It's good that you're carrying the sword for Trevor Lawrence because nobody else is. Yes.
Right. That's the because I called it. I called it. I mean, I told you guys that Trevor was going to be great.
Hey, remember I told you he was going to overcome that sophomore year? I told you that. Hey, nobody else did.
Like? Dan, you know who I like? I'm hearing good things about Aaron Donald in the NFL.
Yeah, watch him. Hey, might go mid-round. Yeah, he's a sleeper. We love, in this position, we love to say we told you. Now, we rarely say, hey, sorry to admit this, but I told you. But, yeah, there are times when you go, I can't, hey, I told you. I remember.
That's like the most baffling question in all of sports media is, hey, can you name one that you missed on?
Oh, I did.
I got to go back.
I'll take a break. I'll tell you. This was, now Paulie chronicles these things.
I've got a whole chart over here.
Exactly. I have my worst whiff, the whiff, and I'll have that for you coming up. You guys can try to guess my worst whiff. That's up next here on the Dan Patrick Show. What's the reaction on the street? If we walked out right now, within 5 blocks, what am I hearing?
Well, reaction what? For the new shows coming
just
out
you.
or just me?
Just you.
Get out of my way. Who are you? No. I think the reactions, you've been around, I've been around long enough in different areas. So I get, I'll get a nice broad spectrum of ages. I get kids that parents made them watch some of my movies. Or kids that read The Outsiders, see that film.
Yeah.
I'll get the Stay Gold Pony Boys shout outs. I'll get the, Paint the Fence.
Oh.
I'll get the Wax Ons. I'll get them a body bags and all that stuff that you guys probably talk about constantly.
I know.
Or open your show with.
Oh yeah.
Maybe. Just a hunch.
We've been known to do that.
But usually a pretty warm embrace.
But
So
it's a compliment that they're saying, and
yes.
I know you.
Yes.
I know you get tired of it, or how do I respond to the 97,000th time that somebody gets in doing the crane or something?
Making them feel that it's they're the first ones who came up with it. I think I'll say this much. Now as I get older, or shall I say, as I look younger, or try to, I embrace it more and more because you sign up for that. And the concept that, say, speaking of the Karate Kid and all this with the Cobra Kai series coming out, the fact that it's 34 years ago. And people still have an opinion on it and want to talk about it or make videos about, was the crane kick an illegal move and should is John justice for Johnny, or is without Miyagi is he really anything? And he was my inspiration. The fact that is a relevant conversation. Who would not sign up for that 34 years later?
But it feels
it's a
like
great thing.
Mr. Miyagi is Belichick,
right?
And Danielson is Tom Brady.
Tom Brady.
Have you heard that analogy?
No, and I enjoy it. And I'm married to a model now, and as Tom Brady. No, I'm saying go near Tom Brady. No, I'm married to the greatest woman on the
Would you
planet.
have been anything without Mr. Miyagi?
Would Daniel LaRusso or would Ralph Macchio?
Would Daniel LaRusso?
That's a great question because we could all use our little human Yoda to guide us through adolescence and life. I think what Daniel Russo has become in those films, and now what happens to him in Cobra Kai. I would say he's a far better man, husband, father because of the Miyagi influence. And that's part of the arc in Cobra Kai. When we first meet Daniel LaRusso 30 years later, he has that void in his life. Miyagi's been gone for 8 years. Martial arts is not quite in his life anymore. He's got a great family, successful car. He's the auto king of the San Fernando Valley. Everything looks fantastic, but as Miyagi would say, not everything is as seemed.
What was that script like when you first saw Karate Kid? What'd you think?
I thought it was kind of corny. I thought it was, and at that time, I was pretty young and just coming into it, so it wasn't like I was a seasoned veteran of
Now, you had done The Outsiders.
I'd done The Outsiders, yes.
Okay.
So I and a few things before that, but The Outsiders was sort of the big break, and then Karate Kid took it to another level. I thought it was. I thought that the Miyagi-Daniel relationship was, and it's interesting. They always spoke about Toshiro Mifune or some great Kurosawa's kind of Japanese actor coming in. And Daniel Satsumi at big fence, it's like. And so it was a whole other thing. And when Pat Morita came in the room and was perfect in every possible way, that chemistry was just spectacular.
Who were you up against for that role?
Charlie Sheen was around. Downey Jr. was around. I think they found me early. They found me early in New York. I read with John Avildsen, who just passed away recently. Sad, so some of these guys are not seeing this resurgence now. But I read with John. That video of me reading with John is on YouTube. You could see that on YouTube. My first cold reading and Pat's first cold reading separately. And he sort of edited them together. It's really fascinating because it's basically they handed me the script. I read the scene with the director, and you could watch that on YouTube, and you see that kid. Like, you see the role. It's not like, okay, then we had to take it here.
When did your life change with that movie?
When soon after the movie came out.
Was it a hit right away?
It was a sleeper hit, but it was the talked about. Going to a mall on a Saturday became less of a smart thing to do.
Yeah. Oh, this should be painful. I love to tell you all the times I got things right. Sometimes I conveniently leave out when I got something wrong. My biggest whiff on the show, making a prediction. Now, if you want to do college to pro, who was going to be good or not good? Yeah, Paulie?
Basketball or football? Or do you have one of each?
I have one whiff that is pretty glaring. And, does anybody have a guess on my biggest? Well, it may not be my biggest whiff. I'm not sure. But I know that I whiffed on this call. Yeah, McLevin.
I have a couple whiffs that I know you made, but they weren't bad.
Okay.
I mean,
we don't have to rub it
EJ
in.
Manuel. But you were right.
I said E.J. Manuel was going to be a first-round pick, and
So you nailed that.
I loved his personality. I didn't know if he'd be any good. I said I loved his personality. He'd be a first-round pick. So I won't take a cold third on that one.
No. The other one that jumps to mind is, and I think it was you who's excited one day about Logan Thomas.
Yes,
out of
that's
Virginia
it.
Tech.
That's my whiff.
Oh, get out of here.
That's my whiff. No, McLevin. I said he was going to win the Heisman.
You did.
Yes, I did.
I know. I stole that take from you, too.
I said Virginia Tech will go undefeated and Logan Thomas will win the Heisman.
You're all in the pool.
Oh.
Circa 2012, 2013, Logan Thomas, 6'6", 245.
Yeah.
Awesome quarterback at Virginia Tech. He didn't throw a lot of touchdowns compared to his interceptions. He ended up becoming a tight end in the NFL.
Yeah, I know. I thought that due to injuries, he was going to get a start at quarterback, and he almost did. And I thought, maybe I'll salvage this. But I said he was going to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. He almost became a starter one game. Yes, Eaton.
I have somebody that I thought was not going to be good in the NBA, and has turned out to be phenomenal. I couldn't have been more wrong. But I remember we had this person in studio, and I was like, no way that dude's making it.
Who was it?
Andrew?
Oh,
Trey
that's
Young.
Trey Young.
Oh,
yeah. I was like,
I'm right with you.
No way that dude's going to play well at the next level.
I had another whiff where I thought O.J. Mayo was going to be a better pro than Kevin Love. And I said, man, I see him, his ceiling is going to be like 15-8. And I remember when they made that draft day deal, and Paulie and I were discussing it, and who got the better end of the deal. And I thought O.J. Mayo was going to be a better pro than Kevin Love. I whiffed on that one as well. Yeah, Paulie.
I watched a couple Arizona State games in his college career. He didn't play long there. I didn't see James Harden. I thought he was a gunner with not much else, which
he is.
Yeah, but I didn't see the high end. And even when he was early in his career with Oklahoma, I thought he was kind of a guy who's going to be, if you go way back, like a Vinnie Johnson who can come off the bench and be a spurt offense guy. I never saw it.
I thought he was just going to be a heavy guy that wasn't going to be able to play in the NBA. I mean, I just remember there's certain guys where you watch and you go, I don't know how they're doing it, but they score when they want to. And that was always the thought when I watched Harden, because I have friends who went to Arizona State. They'd be like, we got a pro here. And I go, all right. And they would tell me about James Harden. And then I would watch and I go, I don't know if he's a pro. It's almost like you're watching Patrick Mahomes where you go, interesting, but I don't know if it translates into the NFL. Yeah, Paul.
I can remember specifically watching Chris Paul at Wake Forest. I'm like, this guy's not that quick, and he doesn't jump at all, really, and he's not overtly strong. I didn't see anything special about his game. I thought he was going to be one of those nice bounce around point guards. I didn't see Chris Paul.
Well, the same thing with Steve Nash. I remember his agent said, you're sleeping on Steve Nash. And I go, he played at Santa Clara. I think Bill Duffy was his agent. And I remember going, there's no way this guy can play in the NBA. Like, he got an interesting haircut, and it looks like he weighs about 170 pounds, but he was going to be a bench player. And all of a sudden, when I went to the All-Star Weekend in New York, and the number of players who came up to Steve Nash, all the star players, they loved Steve Nash because they wanted to play with Steve Nash. Yes, Eden.
You know who I thought was going to be a thing, but has pretty much seems like disappeared? Jeremy Lamb. I thought Jeremy Lamb was going to be a good player.
UConn.
Yeah. I think he went. I don't know if he went top 10 or not, maybe 12, something like that. But man, I thought he was going to be good.
Yeah, McLovin.
I got a couple good ones. Tyler Bray out of Tennessee, the quarterback, and Ryan Mallett, the Michigan quarterback. Not so much.
Well, Ryan Mallett, the Michigan quarterback, might have been better than Ryan Mallett, the Arkansas quarterback. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah. Rich Rodriguez. Yeah, Paul.
No time for Tate Forcier, Denard Robinson for Michigan.
Oh, man. Final hour coming up. Kirk Ferentz, the Iowa head coach, going to join us. More of your phone calls as well. Seton, Paulie, Fritzy, McLovin, yours truly. This is the Dan Patrick Show. Is Friends overrated? No. How overrated is Friends? You know, when I watch The Office, there are certain shows. You know, Seinfeld was just sold for $500 million, I think, to Netflix. I can tell you episodes, and people will quote Seinfeld. I don't know if people talk about, you got to see that Friends episode. Like when Ross and Rachel broke up and got back together? Okay. If you say The Office, I can give you 15 episodes right away. Yeah, Paulie.
Friends isn't funny. It's fun. It's light fun it's like hanging out with a bunch of people that are kind of good looking and kind of witty without actually leaving the house. That's what Friends is. It's not funny. They're having fun though.
Yeah, see.
So like I think Big Bang Theory got that $1 billion because of this resurgence in Friends.
Yeah.
Right? Friends is having this unbelievable comeback where there's a whole generation of people that are, for some reason, choosing to spend their free time binge watching that show, which baffles me. But that clearly has had an effect on syndication.
A couple of my daughters, they watch Friends. And then I go, what do you see in it? And I don't know. I guess Jennifer Aniston and Courtney Cox, and everybody looks great. But I don't get it. There's not one episode where I go, oh my God, that kills me. I don't. But I think at the time, and I talked to somebody who was part of the negotiations with Friends when they were they're into their last year on TV, and I think they got $49 million each. But that's nothing. Jim Parsons got $100 million, I think, for the last year of Big Bang. Yeah, Paul.
When they were up for their first renewal contract, there's a story you can read. David Schwimmer, one of the actors who played Ross on Friends.
Of course, I know.
He got all of them together and said, we all stick together. We all ask for the exact same amount. Even though some are more popular than others, some are more necessary than others, they could always write some one person off a script, and they stuck with that forever.
Yes, Eden.
Yeah, that's the story I was just going to I was just going to say that same thing. And then,
Seems like Ross has the most to benefit from that. I'm not shocked that he's the one of the six.
He's like, hey, Jen, how about this idea?
He was a serious actor. He's a Chicago guy, Steppenwolf Theater. He worked with Gary
he's from
Sinise.
Chicago. Then of course, he should be paid more.
Well, let's rank the Friends, I think.
As actors?
You're telling me Ross is ahead of Joey in net value? I don't know about that.
Joey?
If you had to lose one, like after season one, let's say one of the six were going to leave after season one, and you're the producer of the show.
I could have lost Ross.
Really?
Yeah, I could.
Ross and Rachel? Are you kidding me?
I never bought that
storyline that defined a generation.
I never bought that.
That was a linchpin of season 1, 2, and 3.
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so.
I think we all agree. You could have cut Phoebe out and not missed a beat.
No Smelly Cat?
She's the best actress in the group. She's had a good career.
No,
she's
Aniston
amazing.
is. Aniston's a star. She's a rock star.
Lisa Kudrow, did you ever see her show?
Yeah, she's very funny.
Really good.
Yeah.
She's also in Neighbors. She crushed it.
Hey, having, Aniston was part of, a project that I was in.
You're biased, though.
Yes, I am. Yeah, because I saw her in person. I went, you're beautiful and you're funny.
You should have gotten into sitcoms instead of movies, Dan. That's where your acting career would have been more profitable.
Yeah, my acting career. Buckle up, boys. Time to go to work. Hi, my name's Dan. I'm a Taurus. I'm a male model, and I like pesto.
Welcome, one and all, to the Dan Patrick Show.
I got a half hour here before I'm going to be in bed.
Where tensions are running high as we wait for sporting to resume.
I got to get sports back. They got to.
Dan's feeling it.
I'm mad as hell.
You're feeling it.
Chat row's killing me all show, Dan. They're mean.
But when it comes to the biggest guests and best interviews,
Paul Feinbaum, Brooks Koepka, Will Ferrell, Jason Hare, and he's the director of ESPN's The Last Stand.
those will never go away.
No. Can't do that. Hard no.
Broadcasting from the Mercedes Man Cave.
And if you get there late, you get a bologna sandwich.
This is Dan Patrick.
Final hour on this Thursday. Dan and the Danettes, Dan Patrick Show. We'll check in with the Iowa head football coach, Kirk Ferentz. He'll join us coming up in a little bit here. Got a poll question. We got a winner. Fritzy's scoreboard winner. We'll have that for you coming up. The numbers 55 and 19. Okay. 877-3DP Show, email address dp@danpatrick.com. Here's a good recap of where leagues stand opening up. NBA teams expected to get the go-ahead to reopen practice facilities for limited use as early as tomorrow, less than 2 months after the coronavirus outbreak that forced the suspension of the season. The NFL has set protocols for reopening team facilities and told its 32 teams yesterday to have them in place by May 15th as American Professional Sports League advanced their planning for how and when they can return to action. Major League Soccer teams took the first small step. They're returning to play by allowing players to use team training fields for individual workouts. UFC will host the first of 3 shows this week. I think it's this Saturday in Jacksonville, Florida. And, normally they're playing in stadiums, but you won't be able to do that. But trying to figure out what happens. The NBA's window is short. They're on the clock right now trying to squeeze in a couple of regular season games and then maybe a postseason. Baseball still has a little bit of time. Football, we don't know about college football. Even the NFL, you have the schedule released tonight, and I've forewarned, I've cautioned you to just look at the first 4 games for each team, where they're going to be played, and are those disposable games if we decided, or the NFL decided, we're only going to have a 12-game schedule, because there are contingency plans in place. Will you see the California teams? Could they possibly be playing in Arizona, Vegas, even Denver for the San Francisco 49ers? These are things that are being discussed. From what I'm told, there's a 16-game schedule, obviously. There's a 14-game schedule. There's a 12-game schedule contingency plan. Whether those are implemented, put into play, we're going to find that out, but I think you're going to look at those first 4 games. And if you're the NFL and you want to showcase, you always want to showcase your Super Bowl champ, that first game, that Thursday night, Kansas City Chiefs at home against who? Do you want to have that game? And what happens if you lose that game? If the Buccaneers play the Chiefs on opening night, can you push that back? What happens if you start the season and it's going to be a month in? I think that those are some of the questions that I have. There's a little more intrigue with this than normal. We know which teams your team is going to be playing. You don't know when. You don't know how many road games you're going to have in a row or how many home games you'll have in a row, any quirks, to the schedule. But there are contingency plans in place if we have a 12-game schedule. And if you're going to lose games, you want to make sure that you're not losing interdivision or interconference games. And that'll be the curiosity there. 55 and 19, the scoreboard clue for Todd. Do you want to give us a clue? We have a winner, Mark, in Colorado.
The 55 part is 8 was enough, and the 19 part was he was golden. 8 was enough. He was golden for 55-19.
Did you figure this out or did you have to look this up?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I did. I had to look it up.
Okay. Golden.
These numbers didn't come to me right away.
Okay. I was thinking Lance Allworth at number 19.
The number 19 part is something you referred to at the very beginning of the show. It was certainly part of.
Oh, Johnny Unitas.
He was nicknamed the Golden Arm, as I'm sure you know, and wore number 19. So that's where you get the 19 part.
All right, I like that. 55.
Also discussed on the show, and Mario stole my thunder, and that's more than enough of a clue to give you 55.
Paulie?
Former slick passing point guard, the pasty gangster, Jason Williams was 55.
Not the right answer,
Just
but
try
that
to
is
pull.
true. Think of 8 was enough. Might have been involved with the play of the day. The number is 55, but 8 was enough, as in the 8th seed. A certain gentleman who wore number 55.
Good God,
that was a good one. Dikembe Mutombo wore number 55.
No, they're good, but they're bordering on impossible now.
It's the first time in history, in this date in history, that the number 8 seed beats a number 1.
Well, I know, but other players played on that Nuggets team.
Yeah, but Mutombo was the most popular one, and he had that famous shot with the basketball, which we also mentioned earlier in the show, and wore a very unpopular number 55.
We just heard from USC's athletic department. They sent in a picture of Matt Leinart on the cover of Sports Illustrated with the score 55-19 when they won the national title game. Does that sound right? In 2005? Is that Oklahoma? I think USC Oklahoma. Todd, I'm talking to you.
I believe so, but would that
you
game
have
wouldn't
no
have
idea.
That game wouldn't have happened on May 7th.
Oh, I know, but they're just saying 55-19. They
That's
had their
wonderful,
own.
but that would be very random to this date.
I'm starting to get tired of the scoreboard thing. I am.
Are you really?
I'm almost wishful of mock headlines coming back.
Wow.
And
how
maybe
Seton feels about that.
And maybe your sports related.
I would gladly take the mock headlines over the scoreboard segment.
Wow.
Any day.
Do you guys want to take a vote?
Especially since now the scoreboard segment has become play of the day, the
Yes.
scoreboard segment, and this day in sports history. We're wrapping up all 3 segments into just one.
It does get a little redundant at times when we all pick the same thing.
Thank you, Todd. Yes, Paul.
Or Mother's Day sports names, if you want to throw that in there.
Oh, God.
I don't know if that's possible.
Why do you do this?
Mother's Day, sports days. Interesting.
Kevin Love.
But then it starts spilling into Valentine's Day, so we got to be careful with that. They could be very similar. Anyone whose name was Mommy or Mother?
Steve Laundry.
Left tackle Eric Flowers.
No. Here we go. Don't encourage him. Don't encourage him.
I'm thinking.
Don't. Yeah, that's dangerous. I don't like.
No one's got a name like wife, girlfriend.
Oh, you know what? Speaking of which.
Oh, see, I set you up there.
Earl Thomas was reportedly held at gunpoint by his wife. I don't know what Mother's Day is going to be like in that household.
Oh dear.
Woo-hoo. Earl Thomas, Ravens defensive back, held at gunpoint by his wife after she caught him cheating with another woman. TMZ is reporting the incident. It occurred on April 13th. The incident was found in a court filing that details the incident involving the Ravens safety, his wife, several other people. This took place at a home in Austin, Texas. Thomas's wife claims he left the couple's home earlier in the day after fighting with her husband after his drinking. His brother picked him up. TMZ details what happened next. But a short time later, she decided to check on his whereabouts by logging onto his Snapchat account. And that's when she says she found video of Earl and another woman. Nina, his wife, says that she used Earl's Snapchat account to track his location to a nearby Airbnb rental home. She said she called up 2 other women to help confront Earl at the home. Nina, the wife, also claims she grabbed Earl's pistol, a 9mm Beretta, in the process with the intention to, quote, scare him. When the women arrived at the house, they discovered Earl and his brother naked in bed with other women. That's when Nina admits she pulled out the gun and put it to Earl's head, stating that she took out the magazine thinking the gun could not fire, but cops say Nina was unaware the gun had a bullet in the chamber. In the end, police arrested her and the 2 other women who were with her. She was booked for burglary of a residence with intent to commit aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. The couple has been married since 2016. Here is Earl Thomas making a statement about the incident.
So my agent just hit me and said that I'm going to be on TMZ tomorrow from an altercation that happened with me and Nina. So I just wanted to get ahead of it. I mean, it's really not anybody's business. It's pissing me off that it got out, but it's the world we live in today. But instead of talking about us. Just keep us in y'all prayers. And stuff like this happens, bro. We try to live the best lives we possibly can, but sometimes it don't go as planned. Just pray for us, as we go through this stuff. We're back talking. I'm seeing my kids. So just keep us in your prayers.
Stuff like this happens, bro. No, not really. You're in bed with your brother with other, like, that's the creepiest thing about all of this. Like, I had to sleep in the same bed as my brother.
Yeah, you're 8.
Yes. I'm not 30. Why is it that disturbs me the most about all of this?
He's like, hey, Dave, what are you doing later?
Yeah.
Oh.
Hey, I got an Airbnb. You want to come over? Yeah, sure. What are we going to do? I don't know. Let's get in bed. Got some friends coming over.
And most people don't have an Airbnb in their own town. Usually it's a vacation home. It's a couple hundred miles away. It's not like 8 blocks away. Rarely does that work out well.
Gun to his head. Safety off. Didn't know that there was a bullet in there. That could have gone really, really, really bad.
And that's only aggravated assault, something like that? Putting a gun to someone's head?
I don't know. I don't know. The Austin police were the ones that were answering the call there. Wow. Happy Mother's Day. Couple of phone calls in here. Dr. Dash in Cincinnati joining us on the program. Hi, Doc.
Morning, Dan and the boys. Interesting fact I haven't heard anybody talk on any show, including you guys, and that's this year in the AFC North quarterbacks. With the Steelers, you'll have Roethlisberger, multiple-time Super Bowl winner, future Hall of Famer. Lamar Jackson, Heisman Trophy winner. Baker Mayfield, Heisman Trophy winner. Joe Burrow, Heisman Trophy winner. And I don't think there's ever been 3 Heisman Trophy winner starting quarterbacks in one division. Another quick thing is last-minute suggestion for Chat Row T-shirt. On the front, maybe a silhouette of Ron Burgundy or Etheridge or Darius or the Sandman with Chat of the Day, bop, bop. And on the back, here comes the Chat of the Day.
Thank you, Doc. That's Dr. Dash in Cincinnati. And no, I hadn't addressed the quarterbacks and all the awards they've won in the AFC North there. Yeah, Chat Row, you got to step it up a little bit because Seaton's not going to give the go-ahead. Are you going to give the go-ahead?
Oh, yeah, eventually, for sure. And there's actually been a bunch of new submissions, which have been really good.
You think that the prodding by you calling out the Chat Row is being lame? Like you shamed them?
I think it helped get people a little more engaged. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. That was the purpose.
Oh, it was
the jab. Yeah.
Who has a worse relationship with Chat Row, you or Mario?
Me or Mario?
Yeah.
I don't think I don't have that bad of a relationship with Chat Row.
Okay.
They spend a lot of time dissecting every single movement that my face makes. But other than that, it's fine. It's fine.
You know whose birthday it is tomorrow? Tyler, the moderator.
Oh,
yeah, Tyler. Yeah, he turned 16. Yeah,
got that Camaro.
Yeah, he's got his orange Camaro. So Tyler, the creator. I'm going to let you really in here. So the back office is Tyler, the moderator. He's friends with the big German Eric, who's the director of the show. And then Dylan, who used to get breakfast for us, now does the graphics in there. Rob, the intern, is in back. Marvin answers phones. Marvin used to work at the mothership on ESPN Radio. And then Alan's the IT guy, part-time chef, and male model. So that's sort of the back room. And then you have Mario as well. Now, and the French kid as well. They haven't been here in a while. They were sent. I sent as many people home as possible. And there's only 6 of us in here. So Tyler is friends with the big German. The big German goes out and buys an orange Camaro. Tyler, the moderator, comes in one day with the exact same orange Camaro.
Single white male.
Yes. And I saw the orange Camaro, and I saw Tyler get in it. I go, oh, man, Eric's letting you drive. The big German's letting you drive his Camaro. He goes, no, I got the same one. It's a bright orange Camaro. And then the big German has got Penny, the lab, and I said to Tyler, you're going to go out and get a lab now? Yes, Seton.
I heard he's actually changing the color of that to Viper green.
Whoa!
Just out of coincidence.
Out of respect for me, my Porsche.
I just happen to like the color.
Porsche. Yeah. Somebody came up with a Viper green T-shirt in the chat row. I like that. Yes, Todd.
Tyler's so nice. He doesn't want to inconvenience anybody. He's buying himself his own birthday cake. So he's going to make a special trip to do that for.
Oh, good stuff around here. Doug in North Carolina. Hi, Doug. What do you have for me today?
Well, first off, I'm the world's biggest Seton fan. I love Seton. He's far and away the funniest person on the show. But I'm calling about something Pat Forte said, and I hope this doesn't get lost in the shuffle, but there was a time when the Big Ten was basically the Great Lake regions, all the universities. Now Rutgers is in the conference, and COVID-19 looks drastically different in New Jersey than it does in Iowa. I think we have to consider getting rid of these super conferences and going back to the regional games.
All right. Well, thank you, Doug. Yeah, I didn't like, the Big Ten expands bringing in Rutgers as if you were getting New York City. Nobody in New York City cares about Rutgers, football or basketball. They don't. And I think that, hey, if we bring in Rutgers, we get that part of the country here. Nebraska, all right, you stretch out across the country, all right, fine. You want to do that? But Rutgers, I know they had a pretty good year basketball-wise, but there's no buzz about Rutgers in the New York area. But you want to expand. I still think you're going to have the Big Five conferences. They're going to secede from the NCAA. It just makes sense. The amount of money that's there, you get 60 teams, you get an 8-team playoff, you get a 10-team playoff. You can do whatever you want to do. But the money is made there. This way, these other schools, they can decide if they want to be a big-time college football program or they want to be a smaller college football program. Because who knows what these budgets are going to be after COVID-19. Yeah, Paul.
Dan, you've been talking about this for a while now. And those six, let's say there's 60 teams, 5 12-team conferences that are the high-end football. Those are the teams that pay their athletes.
Yeah.
Then you take the teams like who don't want to be there and football's not first. Like Vanderbilt should be in that other tier where they're a program that's academics first, and they don't pay their athletes.
Yeah. But I think we're going to get there at some point. And I think you're starting to see the NCAA just you don't have a number one person. You don't have a commissioner running all of this. And I think if you get that, maybe somebody is going to be the overall commissioner of the big Power 5 conferences. It feels like we're eventually heading that way. We'll talk to Kirk Ferentz at Iowa about coming back, I believe, June 1st. At least that's what they're going to try to do. We'll take a break. More phone calls coming up. I think Shaq's on the program tomorrow. Dan Patrick, shut the hell up. Is that right, Todd?
He sure is. And Stanford coach David Shaw and Sal Palantonio among the Friday luminaries.
All righty. We'll take a break here. We'll talk some college football next year on the Dan Patrick Show.
Gents, a very exciting day. The new Gronkaneers shirts came in. They're a lovely orange color. Dan, you can see I'm wearing one right now. It's buttery soft, unlike Rob Gronkowski. Now, the big one is the specific Tampa version. This is the sleeveless. I'll hold it up, please. With the Suns Out, Guns Out, which I don't have the guns to fill, which is why I'm wearing the sleeved one. I thought about this. Why don't we have a bounty to, if any of us can get Robert Gronkowski to wear one of these and be photographed before next season starts? I think it'd be a nice, fun challenge for the four of us. Who's in?
Let's do it. Why not?
So what's the prize?
I was going to say, what's the plan to get him to do it?
Oh, no plans.
Yeah, I'm not worried about the prize.
Yeah, we have no plans.
Yeah.
I've thought this through zero.
I thought that we could get Brady to wear a Tampa Bay first, and then he could have his version and say, hey, that was the old, this is the new. Maybe Gronk's going to have his own signature wear there.
I figure Gronk, we could fool Gronk with some trickery and send this to Gronk and tell him this is actually from his clothing line. And Rob probably doesn't read the fine print.
This probably isn't helping us with Gronk.
Well, the chance was 0 going into this morning. Is it less? Is it actually less?
We have a better chance with Gronk than we do with Tom.
All right.
That's for sure. That is for sure.
Well, I was hoping his first name is Tom. We got those shirts in, too. That might be one that maybe he would wear, and we appreciate your enthusiasm on the back. But I don't know.
Give it a try.
I mean, I've got the address to Jeter's crib in St. Jetersburg. Maybe we shouldn't push our luck with that. No.
Why can't we send him a seized and desisted shirt? One of our Tom Brady shirts, and it says seized and desisted. You wouldn't wear that? Just a thought.
Did everyone's screen freeze, or is everyone just not laughing at that?
Seized and desisted.
The first one. There it is.
Go order.
They could edit that out.
Oh, no, they won't.
Oh, yeah, hopefully not.
Show order.
You survived yesterday with J.J. Watt. He was in concussion protocol overnight.
Yeah.
So,
have you been cleared?
He has been cleared. No, we cleared him
They
this
took my
morning.
headphones from me.
Like a minute ago, we cleared you for this. So, Coach is going to convince you for the betterment of the team. Go get it.
Dan said it was for the good of the team.
Yeah.
Seton, you know who George Halas is, right? Who's George Halas?
Right. Yeah.
The great George Halas.
Yeah, right.
Chicago Bears coach.
Yeah. I'm like this. I'm like
George Halas.
I'm super aware of what's going on right
here's what
now.
we're gonna do. George Halas said everything begins and ends with the team.
Okay.
Now Dan said he wants you to put this pie in your face for the good of the team. So what are we talking about here, right? Now here's what I want you to do. I want you to put that pie in your face better than anybody has ever put a pie in their face before.
I feel like I should attack this with great enthusiasm.
Unknown to mankind.
Unknown to mankind.
Better than anybody has done it before.
Come on.
Take
Yeah.
that pie,
Yeah.
put it in your face better than it's ever been done before.
I can do this.
On national television.
I'm ready to go, Coach.
Want a 3 count?
All right.
We'll give you a case.
I feel he's going to do Caden's argument.
Set up. Red 80. Red 80, go.
That's what I'm talking about.
Let's do it.
Let's go. Come on.
All right, boys.
Oh, man, that was
Thank you, Coach. Go team.
Oh.
That probably won't happen again today, Coach.
I don't think anybody else will ask you to do that today, Coach.
Yeah, I don't believe so.
You did
Want to
good.
get a quick team picture?
Yeah.
Eric, you want to get
Like
a little-
this?
Get a little bite. Get a little bite there.
So good.
Ready? Yep. Perfect.
What the hell is wrong with it?
Coach, thanks for coming by.
Thank you, buddy.
Made a little bit of a mess.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Sorry about that.
Thank you again.
I'm going to mention Colgate
All the
again
best.
here.
Yeah.
That's
Okay,
it.
good sport.
11.
Good sport.
Yeah,
baby. Towel? Anyone towel?
Be well. Great to see you.
Take care.
Thank you.
Coach, thank you very much.
Good job. Good job.
Coach.
Just heard from Mario. And to quote Mario, I have no problem with chat row. Seem like nice people. They just tend to be crybabies. No offense, of course. That's from Mario. Have at it, chat row. More phone calls coming up. 877-3DP show. Email address dp@danpatrick.com. You know Iowa's last game, Paulie? You know what happened in Iowa's last game?
Football?
Yeah.
Knowing Iowa football, they probably won in the fourth quarter.
They won, I think, the Holiday Bowl. They beat USC in the Holiday Bowl. Ended up 10-3, and their head coach, Kirk Ferentz, joins us on the program. Coach, how are you today?
Well, I'm doing well, and I appreciate you starting off with a positive note. That's good. That's always positive.
What is your time frame for getting your athletes back on campus or back working out?
Yeah, I think all of us right now are in limbo, just waiting to see what happens, and it's going to be really interesting because things are going to happen differently across the nation. We're already seeing that. But as far as, bare minimums, I think most of us, at least in the conference, agree that at least 6 weeks would be preferred. And then I'm hopeful at least maybe 2 more weeks with our strength conditioning staff prior to us being around our guys. I think 8 weeks would give us a chance to be, decent position for the start of the season.
Who's going to make the final decision? If I looked at just Iowa, is it the governor? Is it the president of the university? Is it going to be the Big Ten? When it comes to playing football, who has the final say on what Iowa does with football?
I think it's probably all the above. And, the conferences, they've been meeting regularly, and I think everybody's on the same page there, certainly. Hopefully we don't get to a scenario where, you get into September and 12 teams can go and maybe 2 can't. But that's a possibility. So I think they've looked at all those possibilities. But, yeah, certainly I think the conference wants to be together as much as possible, like any league or any conference. But certainly the governor, the president, the athletic director, all those people have a prominent role. And at the bottom of the food chain would be the coaches, I think.
If I said you could start on time, no fans, or start 6 weeks later with fans, what would you opt for?
The problem there, if you slide the schedule back 3-4 weeks, I think that may be doable, although you have finals in December to contend with. But, my guess is we'd probably go without fans. That's just one person's opinion.
Yeah, I don't know. Does that change how you coach? Like, so much of college football is emotion. Like, I don't know. You ever done anything like that?
It is. Yeah, and it's certainly the players on the field, but I think anybody that, if you've ever been in Kinnick Stadium when it's sold out and it's rocking, it adds a lot to the atmosphere. Conversely, when you go on the road, it's a big factor when you play on the road in a good environment, a tough environment. So, yeah, it's going to be very sterile if that's the case. And the thing I would liken it to is when we, usually have a couple scrimmages in the spring and a couple in preseason camp. We're in your stadium and you're competing, but there's nobody there outside of the officials there working that and the coaches. So it's really a strange feeling, quite frankly. And the players are still competing, but it doesn't feel the same. Not like we're accustomed to.
What was your last contact like with the Big Ten? What was the last update?
That was actually this morning. We were on a 7 o'clock conference call, which they've been 6:30. I got on at 6:30. Wonder why nobody was there. One of those deals. Better early than late, right?
What was the
full
update?
Disclosure. Yeah, full disclosure. But anyway, I think we're just looking at all the possible scenarios right now and trying to plan for the better, planning for the worst, and still a lot of questions to be answered, just like everything else that's going on in the country right now.
I'm talking to Kirk Ferentz, the Iowa head coach. I'm wondering about this, though, Coach. You have Vanderbilt with the SEC, and their priorities aren't going to be football like it would be at other schools there. If it's Northwestern, is their priority going to be football or something else? The fact that certain states are going to be a little bit more permissible to allow, teams to get together, it could be an unfair advantage for some of these teams. Can you see where some schools might be playing and some schools won't be playing football in the fall?
I think it is possible. You can't rule anything out right now. And the bottom line for everything, and it's like everything we're doing all across the country right now, it's about the people's welfare, whether it be the players, the coaches and staff, certainly the fans in the stadium. So everybody involved. But yeah, I think that is a possibility. Hopefully it's not a likelihood, but it is a possibility. And that's where some tough decisions are really going to have to get made, I think, when it comes to game time. And then in terms of preparation, no question, I think some people might have, we're already seeing it where certain states are opening up a little faster than others. So, there are a lot of factors in play. And, it's just like most, people in my profession, I guess I probably watch more television and news in the last 6 weeks than I have probably in the last 6 years, maybe 16 years. So, you just hear a lot of opinions. And I think bottom line is a lot of us don't really have answers to a lot of the issues out there right now.
Are you better developing tight ends or tackles?
Well, the guys we can't develop as tight ends move to tackle. That goes back to 1982 with John Hall, played for the Kansas City Chiefs. So, we'll do whatever we have to do there. But
well, you got some pretty good tight ends there, Coach. You got Kittle, Fant, Hawkinson, Dallas Clark. That's pretty good.
It's really amazing. Noah came in here. Fant could run like a deer in high school, and he still can. They take a guy like Dallas Clark that was a walk-on linebacker here. He was like our third or fourth team linebacker back in 2000 or 99. We moved him over. So, it's an interesting thing. They all had different pedigree. They all did come from different towns and all that stuff. But the bottom line is they all ended up being really good players, and we're really proud of all those guys.
If you were going to talk to Tom Brady about his new tackle, Tristan Wirth, what would you tell him he's getting?
Well, I think he'll be really pleased. And, Tristan's an amazing kid. Grew up probably about 25 miles from here. And I always joke, he and AJ Epinesa are the kind of guys we never get. He came with a really good skill set. Actually played tackle. He's the first guy in 21 years to play tackle as a true freshman for us. I think he started 7 or 8 games. And the best thing about Tristan right now, he's a tremendous person, first and foremost, but also his upside. He's only played 3 years of college football. So the next couple of years, not that Tom Brady cares what Tristan's going to look like 4 years from now, but the next couple of years, he's just, I think, going to continue to blossom. He's a really good player and a tremendous young person.
Were you at Pitt when Dan Marino was there?
I actually was, yeah. So somehow, some way, we lost a game in 1980. I was there. We were 12-1, and what an unbelievable player Dan was, and tremendous guy.
Well, was Hugh Green there as well?
Yeah, so we had Dan was only a sophomore.
Jimbo Covert?
Hugh Green, Ricky Jackson,
wow.
Jimbo Covert, Russ Grimm. I mean, go right down the line.
These are Hall of Famers.
Yeah, that was my first exposure to major college football. You probably couldn't tell, but I didn't play major college football. It's you're 200 pounds and run a 5 flat. There wasn't a high man as a prospect. But that was my first exposure to major college football, and I'm looking around thinking, boy, this is pretty easy. Just get a bunch of guys look like this. They were great guys and outstanding players.
How close did you come to taking the Browns job in 2008? You can answer it now, Coach.
Yeah, my response has always been I've always felt like I needed a compelling reason to look elsewhere. And two things about it, I came here in 1981 from Pittsburgh. I grew up in Pittsburgh. I was working for my high school coach, Joe Moore, who is my all-time mentor in sports. So I had an opportunity to come out here in 1981, thinking I'd be here 1 year, 2 years, get back to the East Coast, and we stayed here 9 years. It was hard for both of us, Mary and I, to leave. Then 9 years gone and back here 21. So, we've always had we've loved living here. We loved it as a family, and the professional opportunity has been great. So I never felt like I had a compelling reason to leave. And the other side spot, which, you never count on this, but we've had 3 of our sons go through the program. So, it's really hard to put a price tag on that. It's really been a valuable and very unique experience that way.
Plus, weren't you Jim Harbaugh's offensive coordinator? Were you there in Baltimore?
Yeah, I was in Coach Marchibroda.
How was Harbaugh as a quarterback?
You have a good staff, or you've done your homework?
I'm old, Coach.
Marchibroda.
I'm right there with you. I'm old.
I remember we had a meeting actually about the quarterbacks that were available that year, and the last thing Coach Marchibroda got up in front of the group and said, just remember this. He goes, Jimmy kind of flies by the seat of his pants. And I was scratching my head wondering, what's that mean? And then when you meet Jim, you kind of figure that out real quickly. But he was fantastic. Did a great job, great leader.
And then you get to compete with him.
Yeah, it's funny how you hang around long enough, you never know what's going to happen. So it's been a lot of fun. It's been really interesting.
Well, good luck, Coach, with whatever happens. I know people say it's the new normal. It's the new abnormal because we have no idea what's in store. But hopefully we get some college football, and we appreciate your time.
That's a better way to put it for sure. I appreciate being on. Thanks, Dan.
That's Kirk Ferentz, Iowa head football coach. We'll get some phone calls here. Yeah, Coach has been around a long time. So have I. But, he was offensive coordinator for the Ravens when Jim Harbaugh was there. Remember Harbaugh was captain comeback? And he had this incredible year. And it was like, Harbaugh. He was with the Colts then, I think. It's like, Harbaugh, he's always got a chance. He's captain comeback. And I don't know how many games they had where they pulled him out, the wins at the very end. Luke in Alabama joins us. Hi, Luke. What do you have on your mind today?
Hey, Dan. Appreciate you taking my call.
Sure.
I got 2 things. If I described to you a quarterback that was Super Bowl level big arm, athletic, injury prone, and you didn't know if he loved football, you couldn't tell me if that was Ben Roethlisberger or Cam Newton. I personally think it's the same guy. And secondly, I believe that Todd might be suffering from what Paul described earlier about Ben Roethlisberger, that big head syndrome and a body that doesn't show muscles.
Okay. All right. Well, Luke reading into a little bit here. Todd doesn't have a big head, though. Seton has a big head. I mean, physically. But Todd doesn't. Todd's like Darryl Strawberry. He's got like a smaller head. Like Darryl Strawberry had a small head, and he was 6'6". Yeah, Seton.
Paul, can you check your notes and go back to the last time we all measured our heads and
Right.
see? I think Toddler's right up there. I've got a
Is he?
massive head. There's no doubt about that. Toddler's up there too, isn't he?
He is. I do have my notes of the head measuring contest of 2012. But Todd has
the great head measuring contest of 2012.
Todd's, no offense, because I don't have a ton of hair. Todd's lack of hair makes his head look smaller. Then his disproportionate arms make his head look even smaller. You know, there's Beetlejuice. He's like Beefy Juice because he's very beefy, but he's got a smallish head.
Beefy Juice.
Beefy Juice. Beefy Juice.
And Todd has huge muscular arms, but then no shoulders. So as you go up the arm area, there it gets very small. But huge arms.
Yes, McLovin.
Todd's brother has a very big head.
Ira Joe.
One of the biggest of all time.
Yeah. Ira Joe, and that's Ira Fritz. I call him Ira Joe. There used to be a weather guy in New York, Ira Joe Fisher, and he would write backwards on this plexiglass board, and it was always fascinating. He'd give you the weather, and he'd be writing backwards on the board. Who's the other guy, the former San Francisco Giants manager?
Oh, Bruce Bochy.
Yeah, Bochy has an 8 head. Mm-hmm. I think the White Sox had a pitcher, James Baldwin.
Yes.
Had an 8 head.
Seton won the measurements because Seton's, I think, forehead area is more pronounced. But
that would be the Irish in him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They give us billboards. I mean, that's not fair. Like, they saddle us with a few things being Irish. But, you know, the forehead is a 5 head. I remember the first time I heard that. Guy said, "Oh, man, 5 head." And I was thinking, 5 head? And then I realized that I didn't have a 4 head. I had a 5 head. Yeah, Paul.
I don't know this for a fact, but remember David Deal, the former Giants lineman?
Ooh,
he has his
big
head
noggin.
Looks gigantic.
Yeah.
Now, he's a big guy all over.
No,
So
I think that's just a big noggin.
yeah.
Yeah. Remember in Jerry Maguire where the little kid says the head weighs 8 pounds? Is that the average weighs 8 pounds or your head weighs 8 pounds? Do you know that for a fact, Dartmouth grad McLevin?
Nope. All I know is the movie Jerry Maguire, and it was a cute line.
Yeah, but is that the average? Because I have to believe David Deal's head probably is a good 10 pounds.
Oh, 30 or 40.
He's got a noggin. Yeah, maybe look at that. Fritzy, text David Deal and ask him what size his head is. Nothing else. You know what?
No pleasantries.
Yeah.
What about our friend Ross Tucker? He's got a nice
Ross
size head.
Tucker's got a noggin.
Princeton.
Yeah.
Could be a big brain with Princeton.
Yeah, you could show a movie on his forehead.
Brandon in Alabama. Hey, Brandon. Thanks for holding. What do you have for me?
Hey, Dan, y'all was talking about, well, first of all, 5'10", 165. Y'all was talking about recruits. I want to take you back to the 2010 season. There was 3 running backs on the board. Lat Seastruck that ended up committing to Oregon. He didn't pan out. Michael Dyer that committed to Auburn, and Marcus Lattimore. Okay. Michael Dyer committed to Auburn early. And big win for us. I'm an Auburn fan.
All right, War Eagle. I got to move on here, Brandon. We got to speed up the process here just a little bit there. But I'm glad War Eagle won that. Yeah, Paul.
He's right. Those are 3 highly recruited running backs. Michael Dyer is the one who had the flip over the guy in the national title game versus Oregon.
Yeah.
And Marcus Lattimore was going to be an NFL star, but he got his knee torn up at South Carolina.
Jeff in Detroit, and then we'll take a break. Hi, Jeff. What do you have for me today?
Hey, I'll try to get it in real quick, Dan. One time for Chat Row. Listen, I have an idea for a T-shirt for Chat Row. Kind of play off the Death Row Records thing. Have a guy sitting in a chair attached to a keyboard typing with a grimacing look on his face and a headset. Inside the keyboard, you can kind of have it around the computer saying different phrases that we say, like "Suck it, Mario," "Good girl, Penny," "Here's a biscuit," "SWAT" for Tyler, the moderator, and then on the back have something like, "If you don't know, you better ask Chat Row."
Wow. All right. Well, thank you, Jeff. That's pretty detailed there.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant.
Fritzy just sent me this. The adult human head contains the brain, which weighs about 3 pounds. Well, in some cases. Then there's the skull, eyes, teeth, the facial muscles, and skin. The adult head weighs around 10 to 11 pounds. Well, doesn't that little kid in Jerry Maguire, doesn't he say that the average head weighs 8 pounds?
Kid doesn't even know what he's talking about.
No, he's not. I knew that movie didn't hold up. Yeah.
I mean, it's cute the way he said it, but you're wrong.
Punk.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, kid, it's cute, but wrong.
What is that kid doing
Facts
now?
right. Jonathan, what's his name? Lipnicki?
Yes.
Something like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you know the human head weighs 8 pounds?
Is that where they're walking over by the baseball field and then he picks up the ball and then he throws it onto the field and then Tom Cruise looks at him like he's going to be a major league star or something like that? I loved Renee Zellweger in that movie. I thought she was great.
Mm.
Wait, what was that?
But, yeah, like I agreed.
That was a disapproving.
No, that wasn't an agree. You'd be like, oh, totally. Like, I know that you don't agree with me on Renee Zellweger.
No, I do agree with you on it. I really do.
No, your enthusiasm, but not there.
Why would I have a problem being like, I didn't really like her in that movie?
Well, no, you didn't say it that way.
I just made fun of the little kid.
You just went,
I'm not going to talk about Renee. I said,
instead of, oh, yeah. I totally agree. Yeah.
This is like, you just gave me the, like, hey, honey, do you like this outfit?
And you went.
My response was not enthusiastic.
No,
enough.
if your wife said that to you, hey, how do I look? And you went, that doesn't mean you like it, Seton. Let's try it again.
This explains why I'm in so much trouble all the time. Need to work up my responses.
See, I call Seton by his middle name because if it's Patrick and then with my name, and so I call him Seton. So whenever I hear his wife call him Patrick, I always think he's in trouble. Like it just sounds, and you probably are, but your wife will say, Patrick, and then I go, oh, God. I cringe a little bit, but that's your first name.
I get that there's, especially now that we've all been in quarantine, I've been getting a lot of, Patrick. I get a lot of those. Patrick.
Whose wife wants their husband back out of the home worse? Fritzy?
She's had more than enough of me. This has been at least 2-3 weeks that she's like, so when are you going back to the studio?
Yeah.
And she's made it very clear that she needs to have me out.
McLovin, you good? You safe?
I think so. I'm more of an employee than a husband at this point.
Take a break here. Close up shop. Last call for phone calls. What we learned. Shaquille O'Neal will join us on the program tomorrow. Back after this. Can you afford to let yourself go? Like your body?
What does that mean? I mean, well, I'm an actor, so every role isn't like, it isn't a giant supernatural powered werewolf.
No, but I'm not for a movie role, but let's say you just said, I'm not working out or I'm going to let myself go a little bit here.
Well, I just ate my way through Italy.
Let's take our shirts off right now. You and me, and we'll take our shirts off. And let me see if you let yourself go.
Look, so there's the thing is with me, my body wants to be skinny. I was a super skinny kid growing up. I was a kid in 9th grade, led the league in points, rebounds. I thought my end of the year review is going to be spotless. What could they say? And they said, you need to gain upper body strength. You're too skinny. That was their comment. And at that time in 9th grade, I couldn't do one pull-up, couldn't do one dip. And we had to do tests like in football. Everybody had to line up on either side of a dip bar. And it's like, go as many as you can. I couldn't get one. Like, it wasn't even like I was in the middle. And I was the captain of the team. I didn't get like a ton or even like mid-range. 0. Weakest dude on the team. It pissed me off so badly, that embarrassment and the shame that I spent the next, I don't know, 20 odd years making sure that I would never have that kind of embarrassment again. You know, which is why, like, so I wrote a book about bodybuilding. You know, Simon & Schuster approached me. They're like, we want you to write the follow-up to like Arnold's Encyclopedia of Bodybuilding. And I was actually shooting a movie with Arnold at the time. And Arnold's like, whatever you need, let me know. I'll help you in whatever way you want.
You think you could take Arnold?
Do I think I could take Arnold?
Yeah.
Like now?
Yeah.
Well, why would I want to do that?
No, just we like to ask these questions.
He's my buddy, man. Like, I mean, you mean like?
No, could you if you?
Are we
had
talking
to?
like Conan the Barbarian Arnold or Arnold now?
Well, current, I'm going to guess you can, right? But if I said you at your best against Conan the Barbarian,
I'm trying to picture the clickbait headlines right now. Depending on my answer, I mean,
it's great publicity for the movie coming up.
I mean,
bottom of the ninth with Joe Manganiello.
This would be an interesting simulator. Like me at the height of like True Blood shape. I was also boxing at the time, like a lot.
Okay.
Versus Arnold Conan.
Conan the Barbarian.
This would be interesting.
I know. You're in the octagon.
I got the reach.
Only one guy gets out.
one
guy gets out.
Conan or werewolf.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there a Madden we can put this into? It's a Madden simulator.
What about Conan O'Brien instead of Conan the Barbarian? Could you take Conan O'Brien?
He's wiry.
Yeah, he is.
He's a wiry
and
guy.
He's smart.
Yeah.
He could outsmart you.
The sweet science.
Yes.
Oh, man. I should wait first. I love this guy. I wanted to do that since 1982.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, my God.
He was, Patrick.
Oh, that was great.
He was trying to do the Jordan thing.
Where you going? Oh, that was great.
Yeah.
Man,
Thank you, Patrick.
That's like
Thank
a wall.
you. Great to see you. Thank you.
Yeah.
He almost got it.
You have to leave the ground.
Barely got it.
No, I don't. Patrick doesn't want a piece of me.
Dan, I would suggest moving outside, far outside.
Well, I'm going to do like hardened up.
Don't do it.
I still got it. It's the hesitation move got you. Yeah.
That was good.
Thank you, man. Good luck, all right?
Be good, man.
Yeah, we'll talk soon. I owned him. Yeah.
That should work. I'm with Pat right now. I need a minute. Thank you, Coach. See you next year.
Woo. This day in sports history, already ruined by Fritzy, but Paulie still wants to bring that to your attention. David Shaw, the Stanford football coach tomorrow. Sal Paolantonio talks some football, and Shaquille O'Neal will stop by as well. McLevin just sent me some real estate porn. I love real estate porn. a $100 million home in Bel Air is on the market. And I don't know how far you can stretch $100 million when it comes to a house, but that's worth $100 million? Yeah, McLovin.
How about that for our LA man cave? If I don't know if we can afford it right now, but
yeah, we can, McLovin. Yeah.
No sweat.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be nice to have a pool for the Danettes.
Is it above ground, the pool at this house? Is it above
No, I think
ground?
they have an indoor lap pool and then they have an outdoor pool. I mean, they got a full basketball court. For $100 million. I don't know how much just the land cost in Bel Air. That, how much, if you factor that in, but 100, it feels like I get a little bit more for my money for $100 million than that. Yes, Eden.
It says it's got an indoor and outdoor pool, which is nice. That's fun. But you know what I want to know? When you look outside, right? The whole outside, obviously, it's in California, so it's really beautiful in Bel Air, right? And there's all of this outdoor space to go sit. And there's like 3 different outdoor kind of living room things.
Yeah.
How do you figure out which one you want to go sit at? Like, which one are you going to go have your morning coffee at? Like, I guess I'll go sit over here today. Or maybe I'll go sit at this other living room.
Well, it's nice to have options. And maybe the view is different or the sun is different. Maybe. The breeze. Yeah, Paulie.
I'm looking at this picture of this house.
Yeah. Oh, I wouldn't buy for $100 million.
It looks like a high-end corporate, I don't know, office. Oh, it's awful.
And it looks like an elaborate condo.
Yeah.
Building.
It's kind of like a resort.
Yeah, it
Kinda.
is. Yeah.
Now I'm not buying it.
I was going to at least kick the tires on it. I was going to get our guy Josh from $1 Million Listings LA. Yeah. This day in sports history, Paulie.
Dan, our great friend Reggie Miller did this years ago. I don't remember what date. I think it's 94 against the Knicks. Here it is.
Houston and Utah tied at 2 early. Will be going there, both teams in a playoff game. Miller for 3, and he got it. Reggie Miller with a clutch tray, and it's 105-102. And a steal. Miller retreats to the three-point line and hits again. Tie game.
Oh, boy. So that's on this day 25 years ago.
That's right.
All right.
And then I got one more, and we're going to just play a touch of because I don't like it that much. But here it is. Here's Allen Iverson.
It's easy to sum it up when you just talk about practice. We sitting here, I'm supposed to be the franchise player, and we're in here talking about practice. I mean, listen, we're talking about practice. Not a game. We're talking about practice.
Oh, man. It's so
not
good.
Not a game.
Doesn't he sound? I always think of Tone Loc when I hear him. Yeah, you can take the down. Take the sound down. You can take the sound down. There you go. Take it all the way down. There you go. That's how we do it. When I talk, then we take it down. He sounds like Tone Loc. Gets paid to do the wild thing. Let's go around the room what we learned in the program.
When you just talk about
no, we can bring it back down.
Practice.
Yeah. Todd, what did you learn today?
All right, so I can't decide which is more flattering for my friends and coworkers: husky, beefy, or that my lack of hair somehow creates an optical illusion that hides the true immense size of my head. So I'm going to be debating that throughout the afternoon. One of those 3, I got to figure out which one.
How could you ever be lacking in confidence with all the things we say about you? McLovin, what did you learn?
Logan Thomas, good tight end.
Yeah, no. Satan.
I learned that the front portion of my forehead apparently is slightly bulbous, which I wasn't aware of.
Paulie?
Hey, tough times.
This Mother's Day, call 1-800-FLOWERS. They have limited delivery, so it's important to lock in your order today. 1-800-FLOWERS. Beautiful Mother's Day gifts and bouquets. Go to 1-800-FLOWERS.com. Click on the radio icon, enter code Patrick. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Thanks for joining us here on the Dan Patrick Show.